Hey, screeners, how you doing? It's me, the one AJ, Anthony Jordan.
People, it feels so good to be back. It's me too, Double V, Nico Lurot, the Viceroy of Verisimilitude, or maybe moving forward, I should be known as the Verisimilitude Dude.
Ooh, I like. Well played, bro. I like that. That's the kind of puns I live for.
The Verisimilitude. I thought that would be up your dad joke alley of fun.
What was the one I've done? Oh, the Nintendo one.
Yeah. Which one haven't you done at this point?
No, but the one where I fully acknowledged that you were going to rip me, Den was going to appreciate it. And yeah, I see him, I share him. It's what I do at this point.
I see him, I share him. Man, like, what's her face? Ariana Grande. I see it, I like it, I want it, I buy it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. AJ, what's the difference?
AJ, what's the difference? Well, I'm not even going to go there.
Listen, I'm willing to do a little Dragon Ball feud. Anyway, no, shut up. You're taking man. Shut up. But we continue. Yeah.
Can I just say, I seem to be gone like one fucking week, and in both wrestling and gaming and movies, like so much happens. It's like
so much.
One week.
There was a 1 week that happened, and it was something got dropped from a film listing, and I was like, Nick's bound to comment, and I was like, shit, I've not heard a single thing. It's like everything's kicked off when you went away, bro. You went away.
It's all gone mad. It's like the fucking 1 week I'm away, and this shit happens. Like,
that's the one, bro.
Also, I don't want to make this about wrestling, but I'm gone 1 week, and we're back to doing Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio. Like, I've been here before. I didn't like it.
Am I right in saying War Games?
Oh, but
it's the only way I'm building it. I'm guessing it's the only way to build this.
I mean, War Games at Survivor Series surely would be the way to do that.
Yeah. But I think the teams are building. It looks like it. Sorry to all non-wrestling fans. Do we save it?
Save it.
We save it. Yeah.
Save it. I'm just saying, I came back and saw the shit on Monday Night Raw. I was like, eye for an eye. I've seen this shit before. It didn't go well.
Yeah. As you can see, guys, this is our first matchup.
The new Damien Chazelle trailer dropped for Babylon. That looks all kinds of awesome. Jesus Christ, that looks
not seen that one, actually.
Bruh, that was like one of my top 10 most anticipated of the year, and then I've actually found out that it's coming out in fucking January, so that would have been null and void.
But you can't. Look. It was at the time of filming. Anything could be subject to change at any given time. You know.
Also. Are you finally going to go and watch Avatar in 3D? Because I am.
So, the answer is yes, officially. That should be the answer. After our overhyped episode, I kind of was asking a few people around, and I came across an old buddy at work. It's like, this is one of my favorite films. I will do it with you. Like, it's going to happen. So, hopefully they've got it in enough runtime for me to be able to catch it. But it's that thing that I've said it enough times that one of my biggest regrets, despite my feelings towards the film, the visual beauty that is Avatar deserves to be seen in 3D. And I didn't get a chance to do it. So the chance to see it not only 4K enhanced, but in 3D and on a big screen, I would be very stupid to turn it down.
I'm going this Thursday, brother. Got my ticket. I don't give it. I've seen it only once in 3D, and I cannot wait to see it again in 3D. I cannot fucking wait.
Good on you, bro. Good on you.
And all the predictions are coming out already. Like, Avatar's only going to make about 500 million. And I was like, ooh, people in the long legacy and historied route of people betting against James Cameron, it doesn't go well for you.
So I just want to say Endgame was the best-selling film of all time. They secretly, I wouldn't even say they overhyped it. They secretly re-released Avatar. It made enough cash to shut Endgame up. Like, do you get where I'm going with this?
For all of the hate out there, when that thing drops, people go out and see it.
I'm gonna be on it this time. I'm gonna be on it.
And like people really like after he did Titanic, after he did Avatar, after he did Aliens, after he did Terminator 2, people really should take a hint and stop betting against James Cameron at this point. It's just not a healthy, advisable thing to do. Certainly don't take it to the bank. If you think Avatar 2 is only going to make 500 million, oh, honey, don't take that to Bet365.
The fans are there. I think Avatar.
It's not even the fans, bro. It's a fucking event. That's what people don't realize. It's a fucking event.
Avatar 3 or 4 may feel an impact.
Different story. That I will listen to. But if Avatar 2 doesn't blow people's socks off.
Listen, I said it on Overhyped Movie episode. That is 2 things I'm willing to do. I will do Avatar again because it's going into the cinema again, and I'll give Avatar 2 a chance. Now, if I'm going to do it, I may as well do it on the big screen, huh? You know what I mean? So I will be contributing to that factor.
Yes.
And yeah, it's what it is. So even a hater, remember it was worse, will be contributing to that. I know. So
this is what I'm saying. Even the haters go out and see James Cameron movies. Exhibit A standing on the screen next to me. Don't bet against the Cam Meister. Like it never ends well. He always wins. Always.
Yeah.
Like they actually did an interview with Variety recently. It was fascinating. I was reading it in the plane on the way home. Saw a few movies in the plane on the way home. Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Listen, it was an easy watch. I didn't find, as I said, that's what I always said. It was great. It was a nice laugh. It wasn't the best film from Nick Cage. It's not the worst film from Nick Cage. It's middle ground. Like I maintain the score. I maintain the score that I gave it, which I believe was about 7.5. Like I had fun with it, but is it the greatest thing you could ever watch? No, but it was smart. And the way
5.5 for me.
The way they gave Wicker Man, it's little.
Not the bees I thought was funny.
Yeah, like it had its moments. It had its nice moments.
It had its moments, but it was like kind of lowest common denominator fan service stuck together with a very, very feeble plot.
Yeah.
I was like, it's completely non-offensive and digestible.
You kind of see it coming as well, I'm guessing, because I did.
A mile away.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I think you're very generous to 7.5. It's a 5.5 for me.
I can't remember what my score was actually. Let's see what I did give it. But it's not going to be best film of the year for me.
Yeah, no. So I was reading this Variety article that Cameron was in, and he was saying how upon just before Avatar was released, when it was still in post-production phase, he was talking about how he was called into Fox Studios, and dig this for a gangster move from Cameron here. Like I read this, I was like, my God, what a fucking big dick move. And let the record also show, I do not advocate most directors do this. This is James Cameron we're talking about. They were saying to him that Avatar is too long and that he should take out the flying scenes. What's very funny is in hindsight, when people remember the flying scenes, a lot of the time that's people's highlight of the movie. Seeing those scenes in 3D was quite the fucking spectacle. That the hindsight thing aside, at the time, Cameron turned around and went, "You see this building we're sitting in right now? This brand new building on the Fox Studios lot. Titanic paid for this. I made Titanic. I made the highest grossing film of all time. The flight scenes are staying in." And I was like, whoa.
That is bullshit.
And they fucking listened to him like, because it's James fucking Cameron. You don't argue with the guy. Like, legitimately, when it comes to holding a torch under studio's feet, I mean, fuck it, I'm going to go on record saying this. No one, director, no one, not even Steven Spielberg, although he'd be a very close second, no one has
current Spielberg. I don't think you can ever say the word Spielberg. No matter where that sentence is going, it has to have current Spielberg in it. You go back to Mr. Hitmaker 94, 93.
Yeah, but hang on. He's on a roll again recently, bro. Fucking West Side Story was a smash.
Yeah, but do you get what I'm saying? No matter where you're going, he was the guaranteed horse to back in the day.
He was the guaranteed horse to back. But Cameron's always been Mr. Big Money Blockbuster. Always. Mm-hmm. Always. Like, yes, the summer blockbuster exists because of Steven Spielberg. We know that. But you want to talk the guy who's going to make the cheddar for you, the guy who's going to make it rain? It's Jimmy C, bro.
Yeah, listen,
He's
I'm
the
not
only director in the world, I think, that could fucking turn around and say to a studio going, that chair, that suit, this building, this whole thing that you're sitting on and in, I paid for that. It's like,
I like that.
to quote CM Punk, tell me when I'm lying. It's true. Like the guy's a certified deliverer of results. So for all this hate, for all of this hate, Avatar 2, I'm not going to see it. Veto Avatar, it's Ferngully in space. Blah, fucking blah, blah. Right? I bet all of you motherfuckers are going to be out there watching Avatar as it's re-released this week in glorious 3D, which, by the way, you absolutely should do if you haven't already. And I bet all of you haters are going to be there, even if it's to go for the sake of doing your little instant out of theater reaction, no pun intended, to then go and say, I've seen it, now I'm going to shit on it. It's like, you know what? Yeah, doesn't matter. Because have you seen a little movie called Straight Outta Compton? You see, when everyone's burning the NWA CDs, Ice Cube said, I don't give a fuck. They paid for it. Like, you're going to pay. You will be there the first week and you will pay to see this movie. You may not like it. That is up to you. But you will be there. And you will contribute to this movie being $1 billion movie. And I'll be there the same fucking way I was when everyone was hating on Robert Pattinson going, Twilight boy. And for 2 fucking years, I was holding down the fort going, watch, motherfucker. I'm going to be that guy again going, watch. Watch this movie.
I'm not going to lie, I've missed you.
I like being right. What can I do? Like...
dear. Cool. Before we do go any further, how was the trip?
Trip was good. We found some new shipwrecks in the Red Sea. That was nice.
No.
Got some cool footage of them. That should be making BBC News at some point in the coming weeks and months. That new shipwrecks have been discovered. So that's cool. I mean, the things that I thought would annoy me inherently fucking annoyed me. Is that, you know, I'm dealing with, none of them watch this show, so I should be safe saying that. But for just in case, I won't drop names. The crew I was working with are by trade cave divers, so very proficient at handling extreme environments, long dives, big depths. The ocean's my domain, motherfucker. Like, I had to fuck with them on a few dives because they were playing Billy Big Bollocks with me. Like, there was one dive on this very famous shipwreck called the Thistlegorm, which is a World War II cargo wreck. It's fucking spectacular. It's got tanks, the old Enfield rifles, motorbikes, everything from World War II still like completely intact, upright inside the ship. So you can penetrate it about 25 meters down. It's super cool. But Here's a funny thing. So this may sound nonsensical. When you have a current, right? So you've got the surface of the water. Imagine my top of the screen is the surface of the water, and down here at the bottom. Sorry if you're listening on pod, just use your imagination. And down here at the bottom of my screen is like where the wreck is. Yeah. If there's a current moving across the water, a lot of people think that so if you've got, because we've got a line attached to the shipwreck that goes up to our boat. A lot of people think, if the current's moving that way, the line's just going to get pulled that way, and your ship will extend in accordance with the current. It's not how it works.
Am I right in saying it has like a kind of whirlpool effect?
Sort of. It's not so much a whirlpool effect, but what a current will do, because of the split between top and bottom, is instead of making the rope, the mooring line, it's called, the rope that you're on, instead of it being like long and tight, which stands to logic that it should behave that way, but it doesn't. It does a kind of loop. So the rope actually kind of ends up in like you can't see because of my black t-shirt, but it ends up in like a C shape underwater, and the part of the boat which you're moored to on the surface will actually flip around the other way. That's just a trick of the trade that you learn from having reading currents for years and years and years. These fuckers are all cave divers. They don't know what an open ocean current is. So I'm looking at the back of the deck going, we're in for an easy dive. And they all fucking tried to play Billy Big Bollocks should be going, no. The current's always ripping here. I'm like, trust me, there is no current here. And they tried, like, you know, when we were getting towards the back of the dive, they were screaming, "Oh, get your fins on, get your mask on." And what was hysterical is that they were floating on the surface and not moving. "I get your fins on, I get your mask on." And I was like, "Why is that?" They were like, "Oh, because of the current underwater." I'm like, "You mean that current you're in right now that's not moving you?" "Nah, I'm going to take my time." "You know why?" "Because you're absolutely fine. There's no current." And then one of the more experienced ones, "Oh, you don't know if there's a surface current versus an underwater current. Maybe it's just underwater." I'm like, "Brother, trust me, by the way that rope's moving, you are going to get under there and it's going to be easygoing conditions. There is no current." Guess who was right?
I mean, we did just preface your film talk about I love being right. So, I mean, I don't...
So much. So much. And you know the cocky prick I am. I got underwater at about 20 meters and I started going, "Ah!" You know, it's simulating current. And one of them looked at me, laughed, and went, "Fuck off." And I went, "Well, you know, there's a reason you brought me along." You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't the one being a dickhead up on the boat. All I said was, "This should be an easy dive." And you all got butthurt by that. Well, allow me to butthurt you more now. Remain humble or be humiliated by the guy who knows. Haven't fucking worked for 10 years in the South in some of the roughest waters in the world to be told what's what in the open ocean by a bunch of fucking cave divers.
Fair enough.
Oh, felt good getting that off my chest.
And breathe.
Yeah, it was good.
Good.
But yeah, it was cool, man. Got some really cool footage. New camera work to fucking, oh, it's a beauty. Worked a treat. All's good.
Good.
All is good.
Good.
Let's have a look to see who's in the chat just before we get into it. Oh, wow. Lots of comments have come in. Let's go through this quickly. Francis Lalonde is in the house. I'm not going to read all of these comments. Will Johnson, if they're long, especially. Will Johnson is in the house, quoting Parasite. RJ Skarenki's here. Borat Steel, Kin, Electra.
So, just
Hannibal, Misery.
Just want to put a small bit out there. Names aren't allowed. That's a key point. So
I may have forgotten that little thing. So.
Fair enough. Now, when we say names, if it's like
I'm safe.
If it's a name of an individual's name, yeah. So if it's like
Cinderella,
yeah. Rambo,
right? Places
is fine.
Okay, fine. My number one's intact. Den the Tech. Oh, also, I'd like to preface this whole episode by saying, AJ, I don't know if you've gone down this route, but just for the sake of a little bit of novelty, I am excluding Jaws, Seven, Psycho, Goodfellas, Alien, and Aliens from my list.
I did as well. I was very, very tempted.
Also, Snatch.
Oh, fuck you.
No, you can keep it in. I'm just saying.
To be fair, I mean, small minor spoiler. It is in at number 10. Right, I
done
it at number 10. No, just because, like, small spoiler, because it's like it's been brought up enough. That was my thing. That was kind of my reason. A lot of films. The only one that nearly made it for me was Aliens because of the debate of if it was groundbreaking performance from a dramatic actor. I thought, well, this time it can fit, and I was like, no, I'm going to leave it. That was like just Captain Petty in me, and I was like, just leave it.
Who likes being right now, bitch?
Exactly.
Man like Darth Vader in that last episode of Kenobi. Who's got the high ground now, yo? Then the Tech is in the house. This should be a good one.
Hoping to.
And
it's a bit boring, I'm not gonna lie.
Only if there was a movie called The. Well, it's very interesting.
Comment before.
I've been. Francis Lawrence says, Den the Tech hoping Nico got a The buzzer for one, if not when AJ slips up and adds The to a title.
Appreciate it.
The Avatar. Gavin Mann is in the house. Mr. Platinum 001. Good evening, all. Had another role reversal thought, this time on Ralph Macchio films. Joe Pesci and Pat Morita swapped their respective roles in My Cousin Vinny and the Karate Kid. Thoughts? Joe Pesci plays Mr. Miyagi? Fuck no.
You're waxing on.
Hey, come on. Wax on. Come on.
He couldn't be the Karate Kid. It would have to be the Mafioso Kid or something, wouldn't it? It couldn't just be.
Pedro Santos is in the house. Opa.
Hey, Pedro.
Mixed Memorabilia is here, so I am skipping some comments, guys, just because a lot have come in. I apologize. Hello, guys, and all the film familia. And can I say
I have to send my apologies to Mixed Memory. I didn't have time to catch the one-worded film that would have fit for this week. I just didn't get a chance.
Could I say a thank you to Pedro, who suggested the 2019 Brazilian film Bucarao, a very good film, and I extended Pedro's recommendation. Who else is here? Just so I'm not missing anyone. Pedro, Mixed Memorabilia. John Miller is here. Hello again, John. Christine is being backed by John. Billy Mount is in the house. Hello, Nico and AJ. Am I already late? No, sir.
No, you're
right
on
time. Cameron channeling Les Grossman had to bring that one up. Right on. Who else have we got? RJ Skarenki, I've said hello to already. John Miller, RJ, Dan the Tech. Okay, there's a few of the regular film family in the house. Let's rock on, AJ. We've got our viewers. Let's crack on.
Just before I go, I left a couple there that I wasn't sure if you were going to use in your list. Do you want to delete those, or do you need them? I was just saying.
I've ones which had the N next to them. I've deleted.
Okay. Oh, we're still on my screen, but anyway, doesn't matter. Okay.
Gone from.
Right. So before we do start, would you like to tell everyone what the movie Mount Rushmore is all about?
Yes, basically it's a top 10 show between two best friends from school, coming up to 20 years now, brother. Damn.
We passed it.
15, right? Yeah, we have passed it. Fuck.
Yeah.
Here's how the show works. It's basically a top 10 show. We get us on the list. We come back here. We tell you the list. We talk some movies. We do some tangents. We talk some bullshit. We take some shots at each other. We go home. We see you next week.
Pretty much.
Here's how it actually works. AJ and I each get assigned a topic. We go our separate ways. We come right back here into recording and deliver to you, the Silver Screen Dudes, our individual top 10s. This week, I will go first, delivering my bottom 3. AJ will then deliver his bottom 3. I will deliver my next 2. AJ will deliver his next 2. And then we will trade one apiece when we get to our individual top 5s. Once we have, if at any time while we are running off our individual top 10 list, one person has a movie in a high position, the person will say,
punt.
And we will punt and talk about that movie when we get to the higher position. Once we have both rounded off our individual top 10 lists, we will create the movie Mount Rushmore. These are the 4 quintessential, diverse, must-see movies of the genre, which this week is...
Top 10 movies with one-word titles. That does no numbers are included, no thes are included. It's just one-word movies.
No names.
Also... Yeah, and no names. Excludes no names. Just want to put a quick shout out to Maddie and Ethan, who joined the they were VOD Squad. They've joined the VOD Squad. They kept hearing about the podcast. They've joined us. Shout out to John, who's a Live Squad member who treats it as a Pod Squad because he says it's like listening to the radio on his way home from work. So shout out to you.
Shout out to John.
Yeah. And Jimmy, if you're watching, shout out to you as well, bro. Yeah.
Lots of shout outs to all of the new film family members. Thank you all. And thank you to all of our new Twitter followers. And yeah, if you're watching us live, you're one of the Live Squad. If you're watching us on demand after on YouTube, you are VOD Squad. Please do leave your comments down below with the hashtag VOD Squad so we can shout you out on the next episode. And if you are watching us on YouTube, please do like the video, share the video with anyone who you think may be interested. Please do hit the subscribe button and remember to tickle the notification bell so you know whenever we have a new bit of content coming out. If you do like the content we bring you, remember, for literally less than the price of your daily Starbucks, you can head on over to buymeacoffee.com/movie dudes to support the show that comes to you once a week and tries to make you laugh and smile and judge two British dudes who pretend that they know about movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, the all the money, if we do make it, gets reinvested back into the show to buy better equipment, buy better streaming services, and it's essentially just to make a better viewing experience for you guys. There's no expectation, but if you do want to buy us a coffee, the option is there. And if you are listening to us on podcasts, whether it be on Spotify, blah, 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 AJ, do your thing.
You mean on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, Deezer, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, TuneIn, that was Stitcher, and Geo7. Search for Movie Mount Rushmore.
No matter where you are, guys, that Buy Me a Coffee link will also be on the podcast platform. So please do share the podcast with anyone who you know that likes movie podcasts. Mention us on Twitter at MovieMTRushmore. Give us a follow. We'll follow you back. And let's all be part of a weird, wacky, kind of fucked up book club film family.
That's the one.
Let's do this.
Okay. Before we do this, guys, we, the Silver Screen Dudes, will create the Movie Mount Rushmore, the 4 quintessential diverse must-see movies of a particular genre. This week is movies with one-word titles. Not last week, but the week before, our topic was...
Good question.
Are we
I wasn't there.
Are we good?
We're not. Please bear with me while I recover
Okay.
from.
Would you like me to give the title while you're?
No, I've got it with that. best first action movie from an unlikely actor.
And our contenders were
Colin Firth in The Kingsman, Matt Damon in Bourne Identity, Will Smith in Bad Boys, and Emily Blunt in Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, left eye repeat. I had it written there. I was like, huh? What? That's just more. Yeah. Okay, so so with those 4 films, guys, you will head on over to @MovieMT_Rushmore, the official Silver Screen Dudes Twitter page, or even more importantly, JT, the guy who will be retweeting from We Love Movies, aka Movie Polls for You, or @Movie Polls for You. That's where these were. And now it's time for me to guess which order these came in and what was the best of the best of the best with honors. The King of the King, best of best, and yeah, the rest of it. I'm just trying to speed this up. Right.
And slowing it down in the process. Yeah, carry on. Sorry.
This is a weird. Oh, fuck it. Emily Blunt and that number 4.
No, sir.
Oh, well played. I wonder how much backlash he's had because of all he's done. Will Smith in Bad Boys.
Yes, Will Smith got butt fucked with 8%.
Wow. Oh, I wonder if the slap was really still heard around the world. Okay. I mean, Matt's got to be number 1. Colin Firth, number 3.
No, sir.
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt, number 3, 23%.
Colin Firth at number 2.
Yes, this was tight. Colin Firth at number 2 with 31% for Kingsman, and Matt Damon at number 1 with 38% for Bourne Identity. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, yes. I mean, they're both franchises, but Matt's done a lot more. Colin Firth just was like, "Whoa, I didn't know you could do that." that was it. So yeah. Okay, cool.
By the way, watch that new movie of his as well. That's possibly going to make one of my top 10 of the year. Operation Mincemeat.
Oh, I do want to see that actually.
It's good. Very good. Quite slow, but good.
Interesting.
Interesting story. Very, very, very interesting story. Shows you a side of the war that I actually wasn't all that familiar with. It's cool.
Yeah, cool. Right. Are you ready to?
I'm ready to rock and roll, yo. All right, AJ. In at number 10, I am going to the land of the rising sun, and I am going to go to Japan and bring in an extremely influential horror movie that has been remade, sequeled. I'm going to bring in Ringu. The original.
Cool. I would love to. I'm going to be honest. I kind of took a week off when you did. A lot of stuff I promised I was going to watch. Just didn't.
It's on Amazon Prime if you're interested.
Oh, bro. I actually saw a list of things that I really wanted to see and found different ways, Asia Vision and otherwise. And yeah, it just didn't happen, to be honest.
So it was very interesting rewatching this because while I've always been an unabashed cheerleader for Ringu, it's been quite a long time since I've seen it, and I have to say it's fascinating to see how far horror has come along since. Like, horror, I believe, is at an all-time high at the moment. It really, really has in the 21st century elevated itself to what I would call elevated horror, high horror, haute horror, pick whatever term you want. It's so much more complex and intricate now than just your stupid slasher or gore splatter fest. Horror is all good horror, great horror seems to always go down the metaphorical route now, which I fucking love. And the 21st century has just been a beacon of light for horror movies. But this makes the list because while it has aged in the way it's created, and, directors like James Wan have come along and have completely changed the horror game, it kind of, let's label it haute horror, elevated horror, so we don't sound faffy and French. Elevated horror, you really can pinpoint to starting here. Much like the way the whole comic book thing, you can pinpoint to starting pretty much with the X-Men. This Japanese, little low-budget, independent Japanese movie with an oh-so-simple premise, starring a pre-fame Hiroyuki Sanada, can I like to add? And you know my rule, Hiroyuki Sanada makes everything great. He does, is no exception in this either. I mean, it's so weird seeing him so young. I have to say, I'm like, dude, you're like the gruff samurai. Wagwan, your balls haven't even dropped yet, brother. What's happening here? Like, you young, son. Like, he's proper young. But yeah, it's really, really cool seeing him in this role. And what's interesting, he must have some sort of deal with IMDb. Like, sure, we do not mention that I was in this movie. Because, like, if you go on Ringu on IMDb, you got to scroll right to the end of the casting, past all the actors who don't even have profile photos. He's like the last one, Hiroyuki Sanada. It's like,
is he a prominent figure in the film? Yeah,
he's like one of the main two people.
Interesting.
That's what I'm saying. There's something afoot here. It's like he's hidden himself right at the end. It's like, no, I was not in this movie. It's very funny. But yeah, he's brilliant in it. The story, look, we know the story from all the American remakes and sequels. Death tape, and you answer, you die in 7 days. But it's so creepy and so light on the effects, this movie. It creates this horrible tension of dread, of something is coming, and the movie just kind of grinds on you. It doesn't even ever really go into the realm of jump scares. Yes, you've got that iconic, TV scene at the end with Sadako, which is a lot more underplayed than in the American remake, where she kind of glitches forward. There's none of that in this. It's just a slow, horrible, nailless crawl along his mat until she stands up and looks at him. It's truly horrible.
If there is a film, a horror film, I'm willing to give a chance. Like, there are others, I'm like, whatever. Yeah. Ringu and slash The Ring, I would really be interested in. I think it was just really,
it won't scare you. Like, don't go into this looking for yet another horror film that's trying to scare you. Ringu will not scare you.
But it gives you the chill. That's all I'm looking for.
It'll make you uncomfortable as all hell.
But do you remember? Do you know what I also feel? Like, I know. Oh God, what's the Idris film with, like, it's kind of like Power Rangers, Pacific Rim. That's like, I just like
kind of like fair play.
Yeah, but like, I remember hearing that, like, oh, you haven't seen Pacific Rim, go to it. And then we went to number 2, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Rings was not the greatest experience to be introduced to this franchise, I'm aware, but I can see the potential in it. So I've always said I need to go back to it. That's the interesting thing about that film.
I'll say this. I actually think the original remake, so the first American adaptation, The Ring, is a hell of a good film. And it holds up.
Was Sarah Michelle Gellar in that?
Oh, Jesus. I want to say I have no freaking earthly clue. Like,
what was that? But he was in a horror that I remember was into.
Sarah? What, Buffy?
Yeah. No, not the TV show. And she was not in the film.
No, she was not in the film.
Anyway,
bro, I couldn't tell
you
off the top of my head. She was in The Grudge. Well, nice pull.
Right, okay.
Nice fucking pull. Oh, by the way, you want to see a truly fucking scary Japanese film? Watch the Japanese version of The Grudge, Ju-on.
There's a link. Okay.
There's some fucked up shit.
This is what I'm talking about. It's fucked up. I want to get fucked up, but that's what I'm looking for from horror.
Yeah, no, Ju-on will fuck you up. That shit is so horrible. Like, people have always said, which is scarier, The Grudge or The Ring? If we're talking the Japanese ones, The Grudge. That's fucking horrible. Like, it is a horrible film to watch.
Okay.
The Ring is just, or Ringu is just super unsettling. Ju-on is flat out, no. Fuck, turn this shit off. Fuck this.
Oh, I feel like I'm tempted.
Ju-on's good, bro. Ju-on's really, really good. It's AJ Vision.
Oh, I'm very sure it would be.
Billy Mount, Francis Long was guessing Gojira. Billy Mount said Ringu, guessed it correctly. Gavin Mann says Ringu, everyone's favorite parking app. Lol. Pedro Santos, the American remake is pretty solid. I agree. The American remake is pretty solid. Pedro then goes on to say the 70s were a tremendous decade for horror films. They were, and I think horror has been elevated in the 21st century. 70s was like the pre-21st century. 70s was like the last shining beacon for horror, but equally the 70s tinged horror because they became stereotypes of the slasher genre. Friday the 13th,
Halloween,
Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, all of that goodness. Although that may have been 80s, I may be mixing up decades.
The other two, the ones that you mentioned, were more 80s, but they were a product of what the 70s had set. That's why.
Correct.
Yeah.
Dan the Tech asking, does Matilda count as a one-word movie? Nope, because it's a name. No names.
Sorry.
Mixed Memorability says, good shout, Nico. How would you compare the Hollywood version to it? Look, it's very different. The Hollywood version is more reliant on the effects.
Audio, bro. Audio.
I
back.
literally didn't even touch it. The atmosphere in Ringu is far superior to anything that The Ring ever achieved, but The Ring has got some legitimately horrible jump scares in it, which are always fun. And to answer your question, Billy Mount, yes, Dodgeball counts if you wish it to.
Yeah.
Cole Warner Reviews is in the house. I see your selections there, Cole. I'm going to star that and bring it up at the end of the show, but thank you. And Pedro Sanchez then finishes off by saying Naomi Watts is in a new horror remake now. Good Night, Mummy. The original Austrian one was great. Anyone here seen the remake?
No.
I've not. Speaking of horror, Smile comes out tomorrow, which I'm very excited about.
I keep seeing posters. I'm wondering.
Well, I showed you the trailer in our remaining movies of the year, didn't I?
You did.
Yes, looks creepy.
Yeah, you did.
Muy creepy. Right, so that was my number 10. My number 9, I'm going to bring in Mr. Denis Villeneuve. I'm not going to go Arrival or Dune or one that people are predicting. I'm going to go with one that people don't give enough love to. Prisoners. This film is fucking class. I was very on the fence with Denis Villeneuve when the whole world seems to have been drinking the Villeneuve Kool-Aid. When I first saw Arrival, I was about it. Upon rewatching, I acknowledge it is a fucking masterpiece. Sicario, to this day, I've got no time for it, but it bores me senseless. I'm sorry to everyone who likes Sicario out there. Respect if you like it. It bores me senseless. Blade Runner 2049 is visually one of the most prettiest films I've ever seen. Narratively, it's okay. Dune I adore. Prisoners blew my fucking mind. So here's the premise with Prisoners, AJ. Already a very good cast. Let me tease you with the cast. Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal. That's Jackman there. Hugh Jackman's daughter gets kidnapped and goes missing. And this poster is accurate. Let me bring it up again, because the poster says, a man who's lost everything is capable of anything. Oh, yes. So Hugh Jackman pinpoints Paul Dano as the person who's kidnapped his daughter. And the torture, the slow burn torture that ensues for the entirety of this movie is that you kidnap my daughter? Okay. I'm going to kidnap you. And I'm going to put you through some pain until you tell me where the hell my daughter is. And he's having to keep all this shit a secret while Jake Gyllenhaal, who is looking for the daughter in order to help Hugh Jackman, gradually starts suspecting Hugh Jackman of being up to no good, but he can't figure out what. So you've got this brilliant little web of intrigue between these characters who are trying to help each other, but unbeknownst to them, actually clashing while they've got the potential guy there ready. But the question is, do you turn him over to the police and risk it going to trial, or do you torture the motherfucker to get what you need? So good. So fucking good. I cannot tell you how good this film is. And it's so... Oh, Mayor to Prisoner, says John Miller. Fair enough.
Come again?
And Cole Warner Review says, could you possibly do a video on the top 10 worst movies of all time? Yes, I think we should.
So the funny
John
thing
Miller,
about...
John Miller on with me on June. I adore. #adore.
The funny thing about worst movies of all time, it's something that was kind of brought up in the pipeline, but it also means having to torture yourself for it. So it's not something I can promise, look out for it in the next 2 weeks, because you really have to be succumbed to the fact that you're going to be watching utter shit for 10 movies, you know? If you've got 10 shit movies, it's not bad, but...
One of them is coming up tonight. Legitimately what I believe to be one of the top 10 worst films ever.
Fair enough. This is... There it is. It happens. Cool.
I really recommend Prisoners. I know you, AJ. You'll get a kick out of this film.
Nice.
It's really, really harrowing. And I agree with Pedro here, actually saying, I found Villeneuve to be extremely overrated. Prisoners did a good job of being harrowing, but it dragged on for too long. There was a little element of it going on for too long, I'll give you that. But I love that knock ending we got. I was like, oh, that's some good shit. Leave it on a cliffhanger. Love that. And then Gavin Mann says, top 10 worst films will just turn into a hate fest. Yes. Good. Feel the hate.
I mean, to be fair, that's kind of what Dinosaurs turned out being, but that was
God.
expected.
Billy Mount says, Nico, what about worst TV series of all time? We don't do TV on the Movie Mount Rushmore. Worst TV series? I don't watch enough TV to be able to comment on worst.
It's very awkward. I can't think of one that I've legitimately sat back and said, this is terrible. I mean, if I'm honest, while the world loved it, Little Britain just was not for me. And it's a lot of the British comedies that end up failing for me. I also didn't see the buzz behind Gavin. No, that'd be silly. That's gold. Gavin and Stacey. I'm just like, meh.
Fuck Corden.
Yeah, that was kind of where well, no, it didn't actually, because I just heard the whole hype and I was just like, you what? But I could be totally wrong. One was just assuming that's not for me. One I just didn't really. I gave it an episode and I was like, very average. It was just there. I wasn't laughing, but I didn't hate it.
Oh, I just think it's hysterical the way he's got all of America fooled into thinking that he's like some sort of talent.
I have this thing that it's more the execs, because like this show's pretty international, and I've never really seen anyone.
I just want to know whose dick he's sucking and how much gravy he's swallowing, because that boy doesn't have enough talent in his pinky to be on TV for that long. So someone is getting a fucking Bill Clinton level blosser in the fucking studios. I'm telling you that now.
Well, check his shirt. You might find a stain to tell you the answer. But on the other side, do you know what? And this is weird. Like, apologies for bringing it to wrestling, non-wrestling fans. Do you remember every now and again Vince used to bring out the fat guy in a thong to dance Big Dick Johnson, and it was just this weird, stupid joke that would always continuously reoccur.
Mm-hmm.
That could be what they're doing with Corden. They're like, yeah, no one else wants to do it. Send the fat Brit. Yeah, he thinks he's funny. Like, yeah. I don't know. I just don't see the magnetism in the guy.
Oh, he's a twat. If you want to see everything there is to know about James Corden, watch his recent interview with John Travolta. I have a 75-inch TV sitting next to me here, and I wanted to fucking smash it in. He got under my skin. The twat. He needs to fucking just stop. Get off of my TV. He's awful. What have we got here? Billy Mount says, does She-Hulk count as a worst TV show? It's pretty bad.
I think She-Hulk all depends what you're looking for. If I'm honest with you,
it's a comedy that's not funny, bro.
It's just a very light watch. I just take it as a very light watch and something to just tune into weekly. Quick half hour, done.
That's what annoys me about it. Each week, the show's starting to get interesting, they cut. And I don't mean they cut in a place where it's like, oh, I can't wait to see next week. It's a cliffhanger. It's like, well, no, that just feels badly paced. Give me an extra 10, 15 minutes and I would have been invested. It's weird the way they cut it. It's a comedy that's not funny. It's a comedy that's not funny. And that shit's not forgivable for me. Like, is it as bad as Hawkeye? No, but it's not far off. That was some bad shit. Woof. Oof. Book of Boba Fett. That was fucking awful as well. Oh yeah.
Bro, ramble for 2 seconds. I'm just going to refresh. I get a couple of sticks every now and again.
Okay, you're refreshing. I was about to bring in my number 8, but
yeah, you could bring it up. That's fine.
What are you refreshing, or what are you doing?
It's going to be 2 seconds. I'm not shutting down the computer. So
refresh. Do your thing. What other comments have we got? Cole Warner says Rambo Raff for Life is a great YouTube channel for reviewing movies. Watch his rant review on Disaster Movie. That shit was funny. Thanks for sharing that. Cole. I'll take that out. Mixed Memorabilia says 2 ideas. 1, films with a color in the title. 2, films with a number in the title, excluding sequels.
Do you know what Mixed Memorabilia? Shout out to you, because those are 2 things that I also had on my list that I was going to propose to Nico tonight. So yeah.
Do we have something for next week or not?
That's a good question. We've got stuff like lined up. Oh, so tick that.
Because the horror of the 2000s we're doing at the end of the month, obviously.
End of next month.
Yes, end of October.
Yeah. There's a few. We'll discuss it after because I think it's only fair to.
Color in the title, I do like. I have to say.
Yeah.
I do like. That's a very cool idea. All right, my number 8. I'm going to bring in one of our favorite actors here, Brad Pitt, in what I think is a fucking stellar war movie, Fury.
Not seen this one, man.
Oh, fucking hell. This film is the reason that David Ayer was given Suicide Squad to direct. Oh my God, this film is good. The premise is oh so simple. Brad Pitt is a tank commander. Inside this tank, you have John Bernthal, Shia LaBeouf, Latino boy from fucking Ant-Man. It's very bad that I don't remember his name. Michael Pena.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the last guy's name. Lesser known actor. The chemistry between these 5 guys surviving in this tank, bro, it is off the chain good acting. And it's much more a kind of character study than it is like a bombastic war movie. Having said that, my God, it doesn't shy away from giving you some great war scenes. Like there's kind of 3 main scenes with the tank doing its thing. Like how much do you know about tank warfare in World War II?
I mean, I remember our history lessons, put it that way. I wrote.
So the main thing you need to remember is that the Germans had better tanks.
Yeah.
That's kind of the main shtick. Like the Tiger tank, fucking incredible piece of machinery. And there are some battles with the Tiger tank in this movie that just make you go, oh, like this is so fucking good what I'm watching. But yeah, they capture the claustrophobia of 5 men being huddled together inside a tank so fucking well. And there are some genuinely like horrible moments of not horrible in the sense that it's a gore fest. I don't mean horrible like the opening.
No, but uncomfortable.
The D-Day landings. So uncomfortable, bro. The movie is so well paced. It is so well directed. It is so well shot. It's a blur to me that more people haven't seen this movie because it is honestly, if we look at 21st century war films, American made war films, bro, this is up there. This is fucking right up there with things like Hacksaw Ridge. Like this is such a tour de force, this film. Can't recommend it enough.
I'm interested, man. I'm interested. I remember you saying that. I think it was in our Brad Pitt movies. So it's just one that I need to see. It's just been pending.
Yeah, I loved it, mate. What is your number 10? Well, I know what it is. Roll with it.
Yeah, we said it. Do you know what? To even be different, it was a new poster. I was like, oh, look, here we go, a new poster. Stealing stones is hazardous. That was my only way of making this any different. I hesitated on my bottom 3 were very much bottom 4 maybe. Do I really want to bring these up again? But it was like, it's diverse in the fact that it's a nice Brit comedy. It ticked an element for it to be included in the one-word movie, and I just felt like I had to have it in there. Again, I like to do this just for anyone joining for the first time. Snatch is a diamond heist in the maddest possible way created by Guy Ritchie. It has it's weird when you look at it to call it all-star cast because it's not, but it's got people that you will recognize along the way. It's not your main ensemble cast movie, but it's recognized British faces or faces that went to become something from it. You know, Jason Statham was big in Lock, Stock. I think Snatch made it for him. You know what I mean? You take Vinnie Jones, you take Frank Butcher, for God's sakes. Mike Reed is in this. You know, it's such weird people, and obviously
the man, you know.
Brad Pitt, as you just brought up, in the most I just love him in this. Like as a traveler, or as they say, they're not travelers. They're pikeys. They speak pikey, and this is it. Just sets the tone for something that is absolutely insane. It has some of the best comedic moments I've ever seen in film. An absolute joy watching this film.
I say it every time. It's the British Pulp Fiction. It really is.
If I put this back up, came out September 2000. So this month is 22 years of Snatch.
That's mental.
And I still have nothing but love for it.
Absolutely agreed.
Yeah.
I want to go and rewatch it. It's been too long since I've seen
Snatch. I feel like it's been too long. And this is the funny thing. There are some films along the way in Rushmore that I'll be like, I kind of remember it. Let me watch it back to refresh. There are so many golden moments in Snatch that I could just quote or mention, you know, without having rewatched it. And I don't know, I've got to say, it's got to be at least a solid 10 to 15 years. I've proper watched Snatch, but yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, no, it's not been that long for me. Jesus.
No, honestly, it's been a minute, man. But
wow.
It's still golden. It's still golden. Nothing but love for it.
It's fucking sensational. And just to answer Mixed Memorabilia's question, remember Mixed Memorabilia, I'm not the biggest Oliver Stone fan, with the exception of Natural Born Killers. So better than Platoon? Yes. I think Fury is a better movie than Platoon. For me, I know that might be sacrilege to some who love Platoon, but
yeah, it's a weird one. Platoon's one of those films that I've heard come up a lot. See, neither, so I can comment no either end. Right. In terms of the is he going to say something?
No, numero nueve, mate. Roll on.
Yeah, number 9. It's another one of my go-tos, but it's a very diverse in the sense of the only horror / thriller. Well, thriller, but / horror that I would delve into. Identity.
No,
Go on. Again, I was just, oh my god, how could I forget Identity? Very for those who haven't seen it, it's a weird story of people who get stranded in a motel and start to realize that they have more in common, like they have a lot of common factors between them, and then gradually people start getting killed off, and it's a matter of trying to find out who amongst this weird, random, unlikely people with commonalities is the actual killer. Love it. Right. Okay. Very exciting.
Wow, we're going quickly through your list.
Flying through it today.
Okay, now let's just address some questions quickly.
Which is where my number 8 comes in, if you would.
Time out. I just want to bring up a few questions. Cole Warner Reviews says, why do people bitch and complain about a person's skin color in a movie like the upcoming Little Mermaid remake? I think it looks like a lame shot-for-shot remake, but a person's skin color is not an issue. I could not have said it better myself. It is once again Disney with continuing their quest to vanillify cinema. I have to say, I'm getting a little bit over the House of Mouse churning out the same shit constantly.
Have you watched Pinocchio yet?
Watched
Pinocchio.
I've been advised not to.
They've tried to change it in a weird way.
Well, the way they fucking changed the 101 Dalmatians or Cruella in a weird way.
Cruella was slightly different because it's a backstory, but this is the exact.
Yeah, but it was a backstory that didn't fucking link into the main story. It's like, oh, Cruella gave the Dalmatians to fucking Roger.
And then she wants to,
then you want to skin them, you dumb. Okay.
Yeah, that was some dumb shit I would never get my head around. This was just weird. I've not finished it, but it was this weird kind of. They're adding elements to, I'm guessing, try and add time to the film, or there's something they want to release from it, omit from it. And I was just like, well, this is weird. This is just weird. I just didn't know where they're going with it or what they're doing.
The Disney live action remakes are hit and miss at best. Usually when they go straight to streaming, that's not a good sign.
The only thing that I've seen so far, and it's not a spoiler, it's literally in the first seconds. It's some of the clocks that Geppetto makes have a nice nod of the hat to Disney films made before. You know, it's just little characters popping out of the cuckoo clocks. That I thought, oh, that's sweet. But apart from that, you know where I had like a great time with Chip and Dale? This one just felt very.
Yeah, but Chip and Dale was embracing its inner Roger Rabbit. You know, that was clever. That, you know, the way they've kind of gone CG, insinuating plastic surgery to remain relevant. You know, there was some. I haven't even seen it, and I saw the trailers. Like, that looks.
This is smart. Yeah. It's just weird, bro. It's just weird. I can't complain too heavy, but it was weird. Little Mermaid. I will break this down to very similar context as what you said with, is it Hobbits? Black Hobbits or Black Dwarves? I've not watched it. I don't know which one's which. Right,
the Black Dwarves still make no sense to me. They don't bother me now that I've seen them, but they still don't make sense.
But divert. It's one of these weird situations where I'm like, if you want to place it in a specific area, I can understand. But in the same breath, even if this was Norway, who knows what under the sea truly brings? And to be fair, wherever it was, I just randomly took a European country because that's why people are upset that she's black. But in the same breath.
So okay, can I address that? Because you can actually flip this shit very easily. Hans Christian Andersen is Danish. Yes, noted. the book is not set in Denmark, and let it also be known that King Trident is the ruler of the 7 seas, and each of his daughters is meant to represent one of those 7 seas. So there ain't nothing fucking saying that she ain't the Sea of Cortez or the fucking Caribbean Sea. You know what I mean?
Let's be honest, her best friend is a Caribbean crab. Just
Ariel!
Did you get where I'm going?
Ariel!
Yeah.
The seaweed is always greener down on the ocean floor. I feel so racist even singing. Ariel. If I love Sebastian, though, I can't help it.
R.I.P. to the guy who done his voice. I actually had a video of this guy.
Was he actually Jamaican or like Caribbean?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
He was fucking awesome, you know.
He was tops.
Sha-na-na-na, ooh-na-na. Don't be shy, you gotta kiss the girl. So good. But look, is it lame doing these frame for frame remakes of their animated movies? This is a weird one because you know my rules with remakes is like, look, if they can benefit a new generation, you know, with the special effects update or a reimagining of the story to fit a new generation, I'm kind of always okay with the remake. Remaking an animation into a live action always seems like a strange route to take because the animation to me almost seems timeless. But you know, if you want to, in the nicest, non-provocative way, wokeify it a bit, you know, add a bit of diversity into a medium that is historically extremely white, sure, okay, it's very 2022, but okay. I don't have a particular issue with it. Much like Cole Warner review says, I've got a much bigger issue with the movie being bad than The Little Mermaid being black.
To some people, it's one and the same. That's where the issue is, and that's where the conversation comes.
This is stupidity.
It is though. It is stupid as hell. I think, as you said, it's
like people saying that the MCU is now the MCU. It's like, okay, and then what was it before? The MHU?
No, exactly. Yeah.
It's like, what is this dumbness?
Yeah, my thing with the, as you said, it's the chronic remake, and it seems like it's just a case of, oh, you know these classics that you love, look what we can do, and you know it's sad to think that in a weird way we might get the live action Toy Story at one point, where you know you just minified everyone to be toys, and it's going to be like it won't work.
That movie is called Small Soldiers.
Well, no, Small Soldiers were still toys. Do you know what I mean? This one might just literally have. I don't know. It'll be weird. I don't know what they're gonna do. It'll be like a Snapchat filter on faces over a toy or some shit. I have no idea. But yeah, it's like give us something new. That's what we need from Disney. Give us something new, please. That's where we're going. Right. It's gonna be over to you very quickly, by the way, because in at number 8, as I said, these were ones that I just felt couldn't be really left out. Snowpiercer. Especially this one, I also added in because you said I always say the Snowpiercer, and I was like, this time I won't because it's a one-word movie. I always remember this film being introduced to you. To me,
do me a favor. Sorry, do me a favor. Wax lyrical for a moment. I need to bring my wife something for the baby.
That's fine. That's fine. So this film was introduced to me by Nico. I can't remember what the hell the episode was. Maybe it was Movies on the Train, maybe not. But what I loved about it is the way that society is now living within this train, and each compartment has, from the back of the train, it's the lowest for, like, you know, it's those who are struggling, and the more you build up, the more you see it's the case of the have-nots and the haves, and the closer you get, you realize that those up front are living a pretty cushy life, and it's those at the back who are creating a bit of a rebellion and making their way up to the front of the train in order to take on the train master. I can't remember his name, but absolutely great film featuring, hey, we just talked about the MCU, featuring Chris Evans. So that was my bottom 3. Let's see what we have in terms of comments. Oh, wow, you guys have really been busy here. Pedro, Identity is the awful film Nick Cage's twin brother pitches it. Oh, really? Adaptation. I still need to watch that properly. I found it quite hard to get into, if I'm honest with you, Pedro. Who else do we have? TV series of Snatch. I didn't know there was one, Billy. I'm aware of a Lock, Stock, and they continued with different weird series on Channel 4 once. So it was Lock, Stock, and they just gave it a different story. And that was quite fun. Didn't know there was a TV series of Snatch. Be interested to see what that is. Speaking of Disney remakes, Guy Ritchie is doing a remake of Hercules. Interesting. I know there's another Pinocchio as well. Hopefully it's better than the one with The Rock. That's all I'm going to say on that one, Billy. Pedro Santos. It's weird to make Napoleon Chinese, but Fantastic Four could easily be of any... Well, this is the thing. And I always brought up the fact how Johnny Storm was black in the last Fantastic Four, and it was like, where are they going with this? It was weird, but it also worked. It didn't bother me. But yeah, the Fantastic Four could legitimately be from absolutely anywhere. Because... yeah, they're fictional, really. And hey, anyone can live in New York. Cole Warner Review says, who asked for a Pinocchio remake or Little Mermaid remake? I think it, as I quoted earlier, it's a case of everyone is saying, oh, look, you love the Jungle Book. Here, look what we can do with this one. And while they were good to see what you can do, I think Lion King was really great. It lost a bit of the magic from the original Lion King, but it was good fun. Jungle Book, I appreciate what the young Mowgli done. I don't think it captured the magic of the original Jungle Book. And that's kind of where you're going to find problems with these. As I said, couldn't finish Pinocchio. Little Mermaid, we shall see. Francis says, direct streaming is the new direct-to-video. Damn right. I've never actually thought of it that way, but it's true. The sad thing is that you look at a direct-to-video such as Pinocchio and you take someone like Tom Hanks, who looks absolutely amazing as Geppetto. It's sad to think that is a direct-to-video. But yeah, direct streaming is the new direct-to-video. There's no in-between with that. Gavin says, what did everyone think about Armageddon 2 in this? I mean, you came back in time, bro.
Are we taking shots, yes?
Bro, it's there. Satellite crashed into asteroid, a very short film, but it would please Nico.
Of course it would please me. As long as they fucking don't send drillers up. I'm sure it'll please our resident troll, Mr. Carson Peterson, who likes to create fake profiles and pretend that's not him. I see you, Carson.
He's still there, yeah?
Of course he's still there. What was his recent comment, actually? I need to bring it up. It was most enjoyable. Very funny. I had a good time with it. Let me bring this up now. It was
By the way, Gavin, just acknowledging that while Nico pulls that up. The Force Awakens is on Channel 4 Saturday night. Star Wars buddies. Star Wars friend. Thank you, bro. That is my Star Wars movie.
Oh, it's a great film. So his recent one was I know I called you a jerk recently, but when I called you a jerk, I actually meant troll. You are a troll, not a jerk. If you have something bad against Michael Bay, then you are a troll. And I answered him, why don't you make like Frozen and let it go?
Well played, bro. Well played.
I wanted to say other things, but I thought no. Don't feed the troll after midnight.
Yeah.
My little special needs gremlin. Good little Carson. Carry on.
You had to take it there. You had to take it.
Of course,
there.
my little special needs gremlin that lives under the bridge. I had to.
Cool.
If you don't like Michael Bay, that means you're a twirl. It's like, okay, buddy. Love you. Get your platform and you can diss me.
In fact, please do. Please do. We'll even subscribe. We will tune in each week for the diss. There you go. We're putting you on blast, bro. We're giving you a platform.
Got to address this from Mixed Memorabilia. Nico, appreciate you're not an OS fan. OS? AJ, what am I missing? Just had to ask your thoughts on his South of the Border doc film. So not seen the film.
Oliver Stone.
Oh, no. Thank you. Well played on Oliver Stone. I haven't seen it. Mixed Memorabilia is the answer to that. But if you recommend it, that's usually a good sign. So I may check it out. Cole Warner Reviews. Fuck the troll. Big up, Cole. Carson Peterson sounds like a fictional villain. My film familia. I love you guys. Francis Lond. I'm with Jerk. Carson. Just for you, my little gremlin. So that was your bottom three, yes, AJ?
Yeah, indeed.
My number 7. So I didn't allow 7, so no David Fincher there, but I'm going to bring in David Fincher here. Zodiac.
Why do I keep forgetting this film?
Why do you keep forgetting this
Fucking
film?
awesome.
It is fucking awesome. It is the epitome of how to do a slow burn and keep you engrossed from start to end. The evolution that each of these three characters goes through throughout this movie, while all being interconnected to the Zodiac Killer, but how they all have very, very different fates. The cartoonist, the actual detective, the policeman, they all have such varying outcomes, and all true stories, apparently. This shit's fascinating. Have you heard that they think they've identified the Zodiac Killer, by the way?
No way.
Yeah.
No
Apparently, they've identified him finally.
That would be interesting.
Mad, isn't it?
Especially after seeing the film, it feels like a perfect conclusion. Like, hey, wow.
Mm-hmm. Hey, fucking, they identified Jack the Ripper, bro. Like, don't fuck with modern age DNA sampling. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, they do some funny shit with the Twitters. But yeah, man, look, it's the real life story of the decades of destruction that the Zodiac Killer created in the San Francisco Bay Area. It is fascinating to watch how this unfolds, and it's kind of like a fucked up. It's kind of like a fucked up offspring of, like, imagine if The Usual Suspects had a baby with Seven. You would get this.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, it's like one of the lesser seen Fincher movies. Like, especially in the 21st century, everyone pulls for The Social Network, understandably, because it's fucking great. But Zodiac,
Zodiac,
it really is.
Different angles that you get, and you each time with different people, you feel it builds to a lead, but it then leads to a frustration when it doesn't. Like, it's interesting. It's an interesting take. Was it Ensemble Movies I've watched it for? And I haven't given it enough of a revisit to touch it. But I remember being like, this. No, it was Downey Jr. Movies. And I was like, this film has something. It has something.
It does. It's got special sauce. It's got that special je ne sais quoi. I absolutely adore this film. Cole Warner Review says, Disaster Movie 2008 is one of the worst movies I've seen and has 1% on Rotten Tomatoes. Kim Kardashian casted was red flag #1 that movie would suck. Oh my God, Kim Kardashian's in it. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Gavin Mann says, like Zodiac, we felt it was overly long and the constant update on dates and time were distracting. Actor playing suspected Zodiac Killer is criminally underrated. Played McDonald brother and the founder. Nice pull, Gavin. I didn't realize that. So yeah, that was my number 7. My number 6, bro. The possible heir apparent to American Pie. Not as good. But it's the
don't tell me I forgot it, because I'm gonna. Oh fuck.
Super bad.
Oh, that one. No, fair enough.
Which one? That one. Okay. First off, let's adjust the first part, which is, what were you thinking?
I want to find out if it counts as one word now. Yeah, it does. And it was going to be on my list, and I forgot to put it on. I'm actually going to get rid of my number 7 for it. Yeah.
Okay. Then I look forward to that.
Bear with me a few seconds, and I will get that.
I'm bearing with you. Also, while you're doing that, and I'm bearing with you, could you please explain to me what you mean by that one? I'm feeling disrespected.
No, listen, and I'm not saying it in any bad way, because I didn't have a bad. I think more because the film I wanted is still available, so I was like, okay, thank God. But the other side of it is how can I say it? I think it was overhyped. I don't dislike Superbad. Okay. It was just overhyped. To me, Emma Stone was the absolute star of it. Like, that was that. And it's weird.
Jonah Hill, bro. Jonah Hill
was cool. Yeah. Jonah Hill.
I could also say, what's his face? Fucking McLovin.
Yeah, he's all right. Jonah Hill, what I realized about Jonah Hill in this is, like, there was a lot of talk of Jonah Hill and Seth Rogen. Sorry, I'm getting my background at the same time. And I was like, Hill owns Rogen. He is a fucking star. Like, fuck Rogen to the hill and back, man. That was
you don't like Seth Rogen, do you?
Yeah, average. I'm still watching Pam and Tommy.
Pam and Tommy?
I'm watching that at the moment. I respect him in that, but like his comedies, and I will never, and I say this categorically, I will never forgive him for what he done to Green Hornet. I was so excited for that. I was so excited for that, and he fucked up. So,
Kevin, man, I just mentioned the founder, and now see that AJ is not McLovin super bad. Republic Productions is in the house, and Shock Horror disagrees with me right off the bat. Didn't like Superbad. Welcome to the show.
Listen, honestly, I just find it like average, and I say that respectfully. I think from where everyone's been like, "Oh, this film," I was like, okay.
Do you know what I loved about it is that it all felt so fucking plausible. And then when you actually read that this is very, very closely adapted from One Crazy Summer that Seth Rogen had in his kind of suburban environment growing up, I find it inherently charming. The same way that Jim, Stifler, and Oz, and Kevin, and Shipbreak, and, you know, their ultimate aim was get laid. These two are the same. That it's like, it's yet again, it's gross out dick comedy with boys punching above their weight, trying to get some poontang in ways that they shouldn't be trying to get poontang. And I love films like that. It was actually fascinating. You've met my brother-in-law, haven't you, Robert?
Yes, I have. Great guy. Great guy.
Yeah, lovely guy. It was fascinating seeing how the generations have differed and how they digest and enjoy comedy. Because, okay, so while we were on this boat in Egypt, I gravitated towards some other men who are my age who seem to have the same warped, fucked up sense of comedy that I do. In other words, dick jokes, right? Dick jokes are funny, right?
Yeah.
It deteriorated to such a degree at one point that I believe that we likened dick cheese to the smell of feta.
Oh, God, you guys took it low. Oh, God, you went low, bro.
Oh, we went low. But here's the fucked up thing. It's the girls who started it and like, oh, you want to go there with us?
Yeah, I'm always a person that will be like, be careful. I can go dark. That's my thing with that. Like, if you really want to go there, we'll go there.
It went dark. And what was interesting to see, also Republic Productions, just as a quick side note, because you were late to join. We are not including movies like Jaws, 7, Psycho, Goodfellas, Alien, and Aliens. And also, you're wrong. Dick jokes are the best. See what I mean about the difference between...
It depends. It depends. Like,
Francis Lalonde, you nailed it. Famunga cheese. That's exactly what the girl started with. I got Famunga cheese and fupa. Do you know what a fupa is, AJ?
No.
Fat upper pussy area.
Someone done this to me once when me and Tam went to a comedy show. She actually asked me, do you know what a gunt is? And I was like, what? And she's like, it's the area between the gut and the cunt. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. That's what she called it. Bro, it's literally the same thing.
I mean, it's far too like accurately descriptive. Like I can very clearly in my head see a fupa and I don't like it. I don't like the smell of it, the shape of it, or it's just no. And the girls went there and tried to gross the boys. I was like, I looked at one of the other blokes called Imad, who had, as I said, a very warped sense of comedy like I did. I went, are we going there? He went, okay. And the feta joke, it stuck so well that it had everyone on the fucking boat like creasing it. And it was one of those things like, you know, when a stand-up comedian goes full circle and reverts back to jokes, that happened throughout the cruise. Like if there was ever an insinuation of smell or texture, it would be like everyone on the boat would be like, feta, you know? It was one of those recurring things. So dick jokes, when done properly, the shit lands. And I mean, dick jokes are not funny. Republic Productions, the matter with you. Dick jokes in this movie, they landed for me. Like, you know, when McLovin finally has this, oh, it's in. I don't know why that fucking makes me laugh every time. When Jonah Hill grinds up on that bad dude's girlfriend and she periods on him, it's like, yo, when he passes out and he fucking headbutts poor Emma Stone and she's like, motherfucker. These are all things where it's like, none of this is beyond the realm of possibility for me. And that's why it resonates with me. the beer cum. It's like from American Pie. It's like it's
that,
but
that was disgusting, but hilarious at the same time. And being a non-beer drinker, right? Anytime I heard the word pale ale, it directly brought it. It was only later I realized pale ale is actually now you start to work in a pub, you're like, oh, it's actually a thing. Like when I heard someone like, oh yeah, I prefer a pale ale, I was like, you what?
Right. Grim.
Yeah.
Grim. Although I have to say, of all the dick jokes, the thing that always creased me in American Pie was when Jim super glued his hand to his cock. And they cut that to Alien Ant Farm's remake of Michael Jackson's Smooth Criminal. I was like, okay, you know what? Sometimes you have to just watch and enjoy the carnage because this some funny shit.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Dick joke's good. Super bad. Love it. Love it. What's your number 7, bro? You fucking switched your list up. I'm dying.
Bro, to be fair, my number 7 felt like...
Oh, I know what it is, motherfucker. Scotty doesn't know that Fiona and me do it in my van.
We're talking Euro trip, baby.
Of course. And it is one word. She tells him she's in church, but she doesn't go. Now she's down on her knees and...
Scotty doesn't know.
One of the great cameos of all time.
Do you know what? It's a part of me. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, I felt I had to go international. And I was like, I've always done Parasite. It's time for me to repay Old Boy. That's what I done, right? And Old Boy was in there. But I was like, fuck it, Euro Trip. Potentially, this
you just took Old Boy out for Euro Trip. Yes. I love you for that.
Because Old Boy has been done a million times over. We never get enough chance to show love to Euro Trip.
Fucking funny.
I have to, like, there are certain things in
Road Trip was average.
I
absolutely
despised. Again, I think despise might be too heavy, but I thought Tom Green. It just really doesn't work.
Fuck Tom Green. The rest of them were funny.
I was just like, is this it? I think Tom Green made me hate the film, but looking at it any other way, it was like, okay. Euro Trip, and this is the weird bit. I remember looking at this and I thought, oh fuck's sake, they've made a sequel to Road Trip. I've never seen something so batshit crazy in my life that had me cracking up. And again, we're talking Scotty doesn't know. This film, guys, look at this. Look at the poster to this film, right? Michelle Fatchenberg, I believe, like Buffy's little sister or Harriet the Spy, whatever you want to call it, is like the biggest star you will recognize on this poster of Nobodies. Who's seen Scotty doesn't know?
Nobodies. Matt Damon!
Freaking Damon! Right? In one of the, like, you think it's crazy to see him appear as Loki in flipping like Ragnarok.
Love that.
That's gold. It's absolute gold. You're like, whoa. Matt Damon's here. Matt Damon's doing what? A rock song. It's the most on the nose song about a guy who's being cheated on. And it's like Scotty just has to deal with it. Like every point. And you're like, this film is taking the piss. And you think, okay, this is it. That's as crazy as this film gets. Oh no. This film has just begun. I have never watched a film from beginning to end going, what the fuck? And loving the entire journey. More than Euro Trip.
England 5, Germany 1, Man United number 1. I mean, it's so brilliant. How much they had to pay Vinnie Jones, a lifelong Chelsea fan, to sing the Manchester United song. Just little things like that where, like, if you know, you know. It's like, Jesus Christ. Or what my favorite part is in Bratislava, I have to say. Bratislava always.
Is this when they were like on their ass with like dollars to their names? And, yeah. I was cracking up. I was like, you guys.
An American Nico. I opened my own hotel. Oh, but it's that part in the morning after they've all been on absinthe and had the green fairy. Let me see. Bratislava. Here's a fun fact. You made out with your sister.
Everything. Down to like the popes, like the smoke coming out of Vatican City. Like there are so many crazy moments, and I was like, it's the most unexpected thing. Again, I was like, this is a sequel to Road Trip. I am not going to enjoy this, but I'll give it a shot nonetheless. Random night on BBC Two. I'm just watching TV. I'm like, fuck it, I'll give it a shot. A fucking amazing journey. Fucking amazing journey.
I don't overhype it too much. The film is terrible, but it's terribly brilliant.
Crazy. No, it is a good journey. I don't know anyone who's watched Eurotrip and been like, that was shit. Like, maybe the comments might prove me wrong, but it's great fun. It's absolute great fun. Yeah, Eurotrip.
Sounds like Eurotrip to AJ is what 21 Jump Street was to me. Talk about side-splitting humor. Also qualifies for films with number in title. Thank you. Yes, it does.
Thank you. Is it 21 or 22? I think
22 with Ice Cube.
22 when
Channing Tatum finds out and does the ooh,
and he destroys the buffet. It's one of the best moments I have seen in a film.
Fucking brilliant! It is brilliant.
Tears in my eyes, literal tears in my eyes. Yeah,
well, that's good comedy. That shit.
Yeah.
Fail, motherfucker. What's your number 6?
In at number 6, this is an oldie but goodie in the world of silver screen dudes, and we've not brought it up in a while. The one that I deserve to be the Keanu Reeves first action.
Oh, I nearly put this in. Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking Speed, baby. Yeah. Do you know what? It was a last minute entry. I was like, fuck.
Cheese fest of utter brilliance.
Yeah. Like an absolute. Yeah, it was absolutely great. And again, it was weird because having not seen Point Break, he was Bill and Ted. You know what I mean? And here he is now, like delivering something.
You don't need to see Point Break if you haven't.
No, do you know why I'm going to do Point Break? For the drinking. I'm actually going to make Point Break a drinking game because you said the amount of dudes and bros in there. Every time there's a bro or a dude, I'm going to try it.
Oh, you'll get fucked up.
Might make it a watch along. We'll see.
You'll get fucked if you do that. Bro, put it this way. If we did that game with weed, you'd get fucked up on my secondhand smoke. Anthony Kiedis, the lead singer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, playing a Nazi machine gun wielding surfer. Add that to the list of things I did not need to see in my life, along with Jim Broadbent singing Like a Virgin in Moulin Rouge. Didn't need that.
What was the other song that pissed you off like 2 weeks ago? There was someone else singing something. You were like, that's on my list of.
I think it wasn't Jim Broadbent.
No, you said, you said something. I can't. Oh, well, I'll have to go back to it. But you was like, yeah, add this to the things that I didn't need to see. But yeah.
Films are fucking with me at the moment. There's a lot of good and there's a lot of things I'm like, you shouldn't have done that. That offended me. It warped my fragile little feta cheesing mind.
Pop quiz, hot shot. So we're talking about Speed.
So
right?
Good.
And absolutely, again, what are these films? It's just the premise is so simple, so weird, but it works. Yeah. A bomb is attached to a bus. When the bus hits a certain speed, it triggers the bomb. How do you save the passengers?
50.
And it's just, it's absolute madness. Dennis Hopper is the villain from Beyond because no, he's not on the bus.
Jeff Daniels, Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock.
So good. Sandra Bullock, yeah, absolute great movie. If you haven't seen it, guys, it's one of those. If you haven't, you
can smell the 90s on this. Good lord!
But mind you, Point Break smells more 90s. When you can tell me there's a Nazi.
Point Break just smells more shit.
No, but I mean, a 90s surfer. It's only in the 90s you think a Nazi surfer. It's only in the 90s you could think of getting away with that shit. Honestly,
so stupid.
No, Speed, great.
And of course, all the surfers know how to do karate, bro.
Oh god, this gets worse.
Oh, bro, it's painful. It is actually painful. I will never get like if people say to me that they like it in an ironic way, kind of like the way you like The Room, completely get it. But there's like legitimate love for this film, and I'm like, yo, what?
Do you know what? Sorry, someone just sent me a joke, and I have to share it. You know my hate for Avatar, and I said I was going to watch it. I just got this picture. I can't share it, but it's this person saying, "Hey Harry, I have 2 tickets for the new movie." And it says, "That's great. You can watch the movie twice." And it kind of felt how I felt. But no, I will be watching Avatar. So
you have to see Avatar in 3D, bro. It's a treat. It's such a treat.
Yeah.
And Mixed Memorabilia here says Speed, the great Tarantino, has mentioned this to be in his top 20 films of all time. I get it.
I didn't know that. Interesting.
I get it.
Great fun. Great fun.
Such fun. Such stupid fun. That's one of those movies where it's like, yeah, just enjoy the fucking ride. This is proof
Literally,
that
right.
when people are always like, oh, Nico only likes, you know, the movies that make you feel and the Oscar bait movies. It's like, no. Listen,
no. He, like, I think you get an unfair shtick because
I really do.
Do you know what it is? It's because there are some great artsy stuff that you will bat into people. Now, I understand you're doing that, and I wouldn't say you're overhyping it, but you're hyping it enough to say there is something else out there. It's not just the MCU. So you will overly push that, and then people are like, oh, Mr. Arthouse over here. No, it's not Mr. Arthouse. He's just saying there is fresh shit out there. There's fresh shit out there.
And what makes me frustrated is that when
you good?
Is this my stuff? Okay, thank you, baby.
Have you been kicked out of the room for the night?
It felt like it. Was the passive aggressive smile necessary? Oh, okay, misinterpreted it. Love you. I'm sorry. No, do you know what actually frustrates me? Because I've been painted in our comic book group with the brush of the arty farty one, right? What frustrates me is when, yes, I know I've become notorious for my breakdown of Civil War, but it's got to a stage now where it's like I'm not even allowed to pick a hole in a movie without people going, "Oh, you expected it to be an Oscar winner, did you?" Like, no, but shit. It's like it's allowed to, like, I'm allowed to be like, well, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Is a certain Ice Cube movie coming up for you?
No.
Fuck. Damn it. I was really looking forward to discussing this with you tonight.
Oh, fuck. Do you know? So it's not on your list?
No. Where?
Fuck.
I wasn't going to put it. Okay, it was nearly worst.
Thank fuck. Do you know what? I'm not going to lie. Friday was eliminated from my list. I mean, we could discuss Friday if you want. A bit of a tangent.
Have a quick tangent.
Because I was scared that I was going to put Friday somewhere in the list. You were going to punt it. I knew where the punt was going to be. And I didn't want to get into the whole. So I couldn't have Friday as a worst.
Look, so full disclaimer, bro. It was worst for the longest time, but it was worse not because it was the worst one-word title movie I could think of. It was the worst one-word title movie that I had seen in the scope of the movies I'd seen recently. Like, amongst the plethora of films that I've rewatched for this list, I was like, well, Friday really is a pile of dog shit when you compare it to the rest of these. Like, bro, look at the fucking movies we've spoken about so far. You look at Friday and it's like, yeah, one of these things does not belong. You know what I mean? But then, you know, I was thinking, I was like, no, come on, look, I didn't like it. There's got to be another film out there. And then it came to me like a flash of lightning. I was like, that motherfucker's terrible. Now here's the criticism I leveled at Friday. When you're going to, for me, it was like a stand-up comedian changing his shtick, if that makes sense.
Okay.
When I was breaking down the whole, what's his name again? The bad, yeah. Twice in the movie, they make a big deal of it, like it eats into screen time. And then the tech wouldn't listen to me. The whole he comes in, he jacks your shit, right? Like they make a deal of this, like it's what part of his character is. It's like he's the bad dude from the hood. He comes and jacks things. Hide your shit when he's around. They make a deal of this twice in the movie. This isn't like it happened once, we can forgive it. No. They've made this part of the guy's character. You agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
So the part that made me go, huh? Was like, again, he's rolling up. It's night. He's on his fucking little, GTA San Andreas bicycle thing, right? And he looks them both straight in the face, covered in bling, and the movie just carries on. Now, when I raised this, when we were off our wrestling podcast a few weeks ago, God bless him, but then the text says, oh, were you expecting an Oscar movie? I'm like, now see, there's where it's unfair. Because you've asked me to absorb a movie, which is fine. I've given it the time of day. and your movie is inconsistent with its own brand of comedy. Now, forgive me, that's nothing to do with being an Oscar movie. Speed is consistent with its terrible brilliantness.
Yeah.
Eurotrip is consistent with its brand of comedy. Do you see what I mean? It's like, if you're going to tell me something is a certain way, cool, like fucking Face Off, you know, it's fine until the dick thing comes in, right? The penis got me. This has become canonical now. It's fine until the penis gets me. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to tell me a certain thing, I can, it's movies. I can roll with anything. But don't, in the space of the same movie, then tell me this doesn't apply anymore. Because then, I'm sorry for being analytical, my brains are going to go, why'd you make a big deal of it then?
I would have to watch back and see, like, I mean, there's a shit excuse, but I get your point. I can't remember if Debo was on shit, if they were on shit, if it was too far. Like, I get it. I get your point. Yeah. Overall, though, the film just wasn't. I think the film wasn't for you, which I appreciate.
Which shocked me because of the people in it.
Do you know the problem with?
You know who directed this too, yo?
Is it Singleton?
It's F. Gary Gray, bro.
Right.
Fucking director of Straight Outta Compton. I saw that in the opening credits. I was like, oh, I am on like a motherfucker for this. Got Chris Tucker and the director of Straight Outta Compton. Bro, I am on board. And then I'm waiting for the jokes, and I'm like, okay.
It's, if I'm honest, and there's two things to Friday. One, I think it's a product of its time. I think if I watch Friday fresh now, this is kind of why I'm scared to watch House Party. It's a product of its time, right? And there's a certain level of relatability that's required for the jokes to bang. Where if you're seeing,
are you saying it's because I'm white?
No, because I've seen white people crack up at Friday.
Okay,
but it
feels like you're saying it's because I'm white.
It's partially that, but it's also, it's weird because I'm going to say the circles you're in, but I'm in different. I'm in the circle that can understand it. It's weird shit, but it I don't know how to explain it.
Well, you're gonna have to, because I was desperately wanting to enjoy this movie, and I walked away. It's not something that I'm ever gonna go and shit on,
right?
But I looked at it and went, I don't see the hype.
Some of the lines, as I said, they were golden. They've made,
and you know this man. Why is that a big line?
Because he was doing it all the time, and it was just something that people, like, you will see people.
I found him annoying as fuck, to be honest.
Smokey.
Yeah,
but that's Smokey's role. Smokey's role was to be annoying, but
yeah, but no. Let me Seth Rollins this. I don't mean in a kayfabe he's supposed to annoy you. I mean in a no, you're just fucking annoying. Like, it's not your character that's annoying. This performance is annoying the living fuck out.
That performance is what led to everything else he's done. It led to Money Talks, which led to Rush Hour. Like, that's who he was. They found this quirky, annoying guy that was that runt of a friend that you just like, how do you put up with him? And it built everything. There is no, honestly.
What is it that made you laugh in this film? Like, break it down for me. There has to be something I missed here, and I'm remaining open. I need someone to tell me, bro. Here, see this in this context.
I put it in our chat, and it's weird for everyone else. I think you get more direct laughs out of Friday next Friday than you do in Friday.
You really think I'm giving another one of these my time?
Someone suggested it, and I was like, don't tell him to do that. He's not going to do it. I think Craig's dad gave me immense joy. Like, I was cracking up at his dad and some of the stories of like I would call it hood life, if you would. You're always in the kitchen when I'm in the kitchen. I smelled your shit for 15 years. You can't smell my shit for 5 minutes. It's weird bits like that you might have outgrown. It's kind of like the dick jokes kind of thing. But
see, that was so fucking forced. I'm like, what, are we really doing this brand of toilet humor now?
Again, bro, this is why I say it's a time.
Every character in it I found monumentally, like, stereotypically. They were stereotypes or they were archetypes of for me, it was like, this is how white people stereotype black men.
No,
like,
you know what
I felt kind of uncomfortable watching it. Maybe that's some shit I'm bringing to the party. But
it's even like, you take his sister and the fact that she's sleeping like that because she doesn't want to fuck up her weave. We know people like this. You know, it's these kind of bits where you might have felt uncomfortable. Like, am I allowed to laugh at this? Whereas years ago, where the role wasn't so woke, you'd have been like, oh my God, I get it. Like, it's dumb shit, but it's that. What I thought was
possibly.
What
I
was
also
the
took
film?
exception to the fact that every single black person in this film is portrayed as a fucking idiot.
What I'll tell you, the one that really, really bugged me. It's a different film that I found offensive, and it was the one where every actor was trying to be like Eddie Murphy or some shit. It was both our worst one time. That film was shit. Friday, on the other hand, Friday. It's a weird one to explain, especially not having seen it in a while. But it's got these golden moments that it's extremely relatable, and I think as the time progresses,
My
it can
condolences.
become. Fuck off, it's not that bad. But it can become offensive. Those stereotypes, people like that, all those practices take place within your household, which does now very much seem like a yes.
I've seen your younger brother kiss his teeth in my general direction enough times in my life to know what's what, yeah?
Bro, you get it, but you don't. Like, it's weird to say it. It's very weird. And I don't want to make it a racial thing because I know there are a shitload
It's
of
a racial thing. You can say it.
No, but I know so many white people who love Friday. So many.
I don't get it.
And
it's frustrated me because I really, really, really wanted to get it. I don't get Friday. Here, you'll be able to relate to this. Friday made me laugh. Other people will not relate to this, though. You will relate to this. Friday made me laugh the way Dave Chappelle makes me laugh. It's kind of like, okay. I get the joke you're making, but
I get what you're saying.
It's not nuanced. It's kind of like, okay.
So here's the funny thing.
Dad's playing the big dick in his house going, it's my house, and taking a shit in front of his son. It's like, okay. It's not very highbrow comedy, is it? Like,
it's a weird one, bro. It's a weird one. It's funny as well because it's like you would get more on the nose jokes in Next Friday, but it is a worse movie. That's the stupid thing about Next Friday. It's weird to sell it that way, but as I said, let's leave it there. Let's leave it there. It's a pity. It's unfortunate.
It's a real fucking pity.
Yeah,
I was gutted that the credits rolled, and I was like, "That's it." I was proper pissed. I really wanted to like that.
Friday's also got messages behind it. Like if you look at it as well, you've got everyone giving it that element of like, I'm a bad man. Ice Cube, the fact that Craig's got the gun and it's like, look, put the gun down. It's about using your fist. You can still sort this out. Big Worm. I thought Big Worm was humorous, man. Like it's come on, Smokey, playing with my money is like playing with my emotions, all of that shit. Like Smokey accidentally calling him Big Perm when he sees the fucked up hairstyle. It's just stupid little bully boy tactics of comedy.
Big Perm made me chuckle.
Damn, there we are. It's
chuckle. That's the thing. I was expecting big lols here. Also, Pedro Santos, is Elf the best one title film you have both seen? Better than China? Pedro, do you watch this show?
That is trolling to the highest. I believe
either you trolling or you don't know us, my bro.
What's the guy on Twitter? Your mate on Twitter who keeps asking about Michael Bay.
Oh no, that's on YouTube. Carson Peterson.
Oh, Carson's just hacked Pedro's account.
He must have. Like, what the fuck? Speaking of Michael Bay, Francis Dunn, Transformers. Michael Bay is a genius, Nico. Oh dear. Billy Mount wants to know if we've seen the Friday sequels. AJ will have.
I have. They do get progressively worse. Friday After Next is absolutely terrible. I know. Look, the one thing, it's funny, bro, because this is what's funny, is that you hated Smokey. People have always waited for Smokey to return in the other films. That's how much he's loved.
Yeah.
That's how much he's loved.
I'm with Francis here. Forced cultural humor generally fails. That's what it felt like for me. It felt like failed culture humor. That's you've said it perfectly, Francis. That is exactly how I'm feeling about it. And also, bro, you got to remember, being the token white boy in our circle of friends, I found it so fucking weird that this movie has been praised by y'all, and every single black person in this movie is a fucking idiot. Idiot. There is not a single redeeming character in this film. You can make an argument that Ice Cube grows a pair at the end and takes down Tiny Lister. Fine. But he's a little bitch for the whole film, as they all are. Male and female, mother, son, father, they are all a bunch of fucking wastrels. And that's what made me go, this is the representation we're looking for? Damn. Do you see where I'm coming from? I'm like, straight out of Compton. That's some fucking representation.
But here's the thing. Here's the funny thing. Yeah, you look at if we want to take it that way, you look at representation of like Straight Outta Compton. Now you mirror that of the people who would have listened and worshipped. I shouldn't say that because NWO was taken over by everyone. But you take that society in that same era and what they would perceive to be everyone trying to be a bad man and how they carried it on. This is what it was, and it shows you the actual truth behind all of that elements behind it. It's a very weird way to encapsulate.
The truth being that all black people who live in the hood are fucking wastrels. I don't prescribe to that. I'm sorry.
It's weird. I don't know how to explain it.
But I'm only going off of what was represented on screen.
I get what you're saying, but it's like, put it this way: when you take a lower economic section of society within this, there are certain stereotypes that you will come across. Yes, it's amped up to make it more stupid. So I get what you're saying, that cultural references will become offensive. I get that part. But in the same breath, all right, but let me put it this way to you in a...
Black people in this film are either portrayed as unemployed, homeless, drug dealers, gangbangers, or fucking like burglars. I'm sorry. There is nothing in this film that makes me think there's a comedic take on the struggling.
The funny thing is, I could tell you, not directly because it's there, and obviously America was more, I don't want to say gangsterized, but a bit more hardcore than we are over here in the UK. But I could still relate characters to people on this estate. Like, you were like, yeah, we all know someone like that. We all know someone.
You know who I'm going to relate to? Ice Cube, right? Mr. Can't get a job. Oh, I went there.
Oh, China Lover.
Nah, bro. Ding dong.
Okay. All right. Enough of the Friday. We could literally debate Friday like scene for scene. Might be an interesting watch along one day. But anyway,
bro, I would genuinely love that. I would love to sit down because I don't hate the film. I'd like that to be clear. I'm failing to see where the quality in it is. And I would love to sit down with two people who genuinely love it, like you and Den, and let that kind of love rub off on me. I'm all in for that. Because y'all have spoken so highly of this film. And I was genuinely fucking devastated when the credits were going, where was the laughs? I want to like this film.
Bro, I get it. The shit happens. I can't remember what it was. I remember my reaction to True Romance. As much as I loved the Sicilian scene, the rest of the film at first I was like Draxel. Your take of Draxel compared to mine, I was like,
True Romance.
Draxel was, I don't want to say nothing to me, but it wasn't the most imposing character.
Yo,
Christopher Walken all day long, bro. All day long.
Gary Oldman playing like a wigger. Like, it's so good. I didn't think he had that in him.
Probably, but it was
this guy played Churchill. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I was just like, yeah. Whereas, yeah, as I said, Christopher Walken all day long. I was like, he's a bad man. Like the minute it was like, this guy, I have not pulled a trigger myself in X amount of years. I was like, oh fuck. Like you could feel the tension. I was Jackson. I was like, okay, is this the bad man I was warned about? That was my personal take. So I get what you're saying when it doesn't hit the same.
Right, anyway, my number 5.
Yeah,
Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons, Whiplash.
If we could punt on that, please, sir, that would be appreciated.
Punt away.
There we are.
Your number 5.
Right. Where are we? Yeah. So someone, was it Pedro who brought it up a minute ago? And brought up Elf. Is it better than Chinatown? No, it flipping well isn't. No, it isn't. Put your mic in or bring the mic closer to you, sir.
Sound check 1 2. Sound check 1 2. Cool. Is this your first watch of Chinatown?
You brought up Chinatown, and I think I watched it like the week after or something. I can't remember what the topic was, but I had a chance to watch it and it came up for something else. It might have been noirs or something. I can't remember what topic we done, but Chinatown
it's very good. It's very good.
And then I had a chance to watch Chinatown. So it's been a while since I've watched Chinatown again. one thought at some points, noirs kind of do this to me though. As much as I enjoy them, sometimes I feel they drag a tad, and I felt
They
that
do,
with
yes,
Chinatown.
for sure.
That's one of the things that bugs me with Chinatown. But the web that is entangled in this film is absolutely insane. My God, you know, you're talking about a detective who's only out, was it like a marital affair or something he's out to uncover? And he gets caught up into this, he has to cover for this, and then he's involved in this line, and then you find out there's this, and then there's a murder. It was like, what the hell is going on? I was just like, what? Like, it's a lot to take in, but it's great for it at the same time. I've seen stuff. Another one that I think
I've seen some shit.
like a great noir for me was Double Indemnity. I really appreciated that one. I really
fucking great film.
Sin City. Which one?
Sin City.
Of course, Sin City. Just the graphics behind that as well is absolutely amazing. Ooh. Sin City has a lot to be appreciated for. But Chinatown was newer than Double Indemnity, but it still felt like an old school noir to watch, you know. And it was, as I said, it was the web. It's a lot to keep up with, and then when it starts to unravel and you've pieced it all together again, and then the revelations at the end, you're like, what the fuck is going on? And yeah, it captured me in a way that I was like, this film is interesting. You've got to look.
AJ,
yeah,
just got some breaking news.
Go.
Deadpool 3 release date confirmed alongside the return of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
No. I need an official.
It's official. It's official. It's a very short article. Deadpool 3 has been officially announced as part of the news. It's seemingly been confirmed that Hugh Jackman will return as Wolverine. The news was announced through The news was announced through a very goofy Twitter video from Deadpool himself, Ryan Reynolds, where he teases the anti-hero's first appearance in the MCU. Hugh Jackman appears in the background of the video saying, "Yeah, sure, why not?" to returning as Wolverine in Deadpool 3. A rousing rendition of "I Will Always Love Hugh" plays in the background. The clip ends with Wolverine-style claws slashing a Roman 3 through the Deadpool logo alongside a release date of September 6, 2024.
Is this from Bloody Disgusting, by any chance?
Sorry?
The website, is it Bloody Disgusting? Is that where you got it from?
Games Radar.
Okay. Ooh, I trust them.
Mm-hmm. It's a very, very easy way
to not be trolling us, and it's just for the trailer.
No, I don't think so. There's a very easy way to figure this out. You carry on with what you're saying. I'm going to do a little dig on this.
I feel like I've done enough of Chinatown, so thank you.
Like Disneyland for adults with fewer fairies.
Right, so let's take to the comments, because that's the best thing I can do at this point. Where are we?
Sad to have missed you.
Oh, there are so many comments going on here. Humor is.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I'm watching the Ryan Reynolds video now.
Yeah,
Hugh Jackman's literally there with him. Hey, Hugh, you want to play Wolverine one more time? Yeah, sure, Ryan.
Laugh it up. These are the jokes.
These ain't jokes.
Shout out to Earthquake. F. Gary Gray also directed Fast and Furious 8 and Italian Job remake. Francis says the you people syndrome. So this is all related to Friday, guys. While we're on it. Taki says humor is subjective, no explanation needed. Fair point. Gavin says Nico drawing the line at toilet humor. That's a good point. Francis calls cultural humor generally fails. Francis also said today on a very special episode of the Movie Mount Rushmore. Yeah, it's fun.
Well, no James Bond for me. I would just like to say, AJ, I think that Deadpool will not be in the MCU, and if they do put him in, I don't think Hugh Jackman will officially be Wolverine. I think it's just because we need to see Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman together on screen with their, ongoing internet romance, bromance.
Yeah.
I think it's just a bit of, very good good bit of fan service, but I don't think Hugh Jackman's going to be Wolverine for the long run.
Listen, it's a one and done. It's the same way. Patrick Stewart.
Kevin Conroy.
Patrick Stewart gave us one last Professor X.
Likewise, John Krasinski, who I believe is not going to be Mr. Fantastic.
I tend to agree with you on this one. I think it's very, I want to say universal. It's based on that universe, That's who they were there. What comes next. And I think this is the same. I think Deadpool, even though Sony is different, so I understand why it is, Deadpool will be very much similar to Venom in the sense that we're aware that it's from a different universe. So what you see there will not be canonical to anything that you see in the MCU at all.
Agreed.
Put it this way.
Also, I've said it before on podcast, multiverse, motherfucker.
Well, this is it.
We can do whatever we want.
You can do what you want. And the thing is, Deadpool can't fit in the MCU. It just doesn't fit because the MCU is targeted to a certain age group and Deadpool's leans to another. Yeah. Like, he can't be in that list of films, after Endgame, catch Deadpool. It would never happen. It just can't.
Anyway, back onto this. My number 4.
Yeah.
There was some cool breaking news for you guys. My number 4, Michael Mann directing Val Kilmer, Al Pacino, and Robert De Niro in Heat. One of the all-time great.
It's the showdown. It's the showdown in the car scene, like the shootout.
Bro, it's the whole film. It's such a fucking brilliant film, this. I rewatched it specifically for this list. It is as close to a flawless film as I have seen for a very, very, very long time. It is so well paced. You talk about web of intrigue, the web between De Niro and Pacino in this, before they ever even meet. The suspense building up to it, the cat and mouse game that they're playing with each other, the methodicalness with which they plan these heists. It's so fucking good. And I've said this before, I love the way Michael Mann fucking shoots Los Angeles. He's a genius.
My thing, and this is a confession to Heat. My dad hated Heat. So we had the VHS at home. Okay. No, but this is the thing. It's like, I always remember having this VHS at home and can we watch it? It's like, no, shit. It's only got a good car chase scene or some shit like that. I can't remember what he said, but it's like, good shootout on the motorway and that's it. And it's always been like a bitter taste to me. So even though I watch it, I was like, it's better than I thought. It kind of rings in my head. I think I need to remove Dad from the back of my brain for this film and watch it and give it a full unbiased opinion. It's just one of those things that's just stuck to me.
It's so good, AJ. Just watch it again and have your mind change. Because I reckon when you watch it again fresh, that's going to start making your top 10s very regularly. It is such a fucking tour de force, this film. Also, Tucky, to answer your question, I've answered this before, but who would you have as the next Wolverine? Zac Efron. No brainer for me.
It works. It's one of those things that I hate getting into, not in a bad way, I hate getting into it because I can't unsee Efron. That's my problem. So I always try to think of something different, but Efron always comes in the forefront.
And to answer your question, Pedro, if the question will come up, Nico, have you seen Mann's LA Takedown? The diner scene's there. No, but if that scene's there, I'm all over that one, Pedro. Thank you for the tip, brother. Right, AJ, you're number 4.
Okay. Why is that there? That's so weird. Okay, sorry. Something just loaded wrong. I brought back another one of the old favorites, bro. And it's mainly... Sorry, my list is all over the place here. It's just one of those French classics. It's a comedy, and I've not brought it in a while. We're talking Taxi, bro.
Oh, yes.
I had to bring it back. Man. It was just... Yeah, I've not had a chance to bring up this French comedy that absolutely has me cracking up. I think it even became a deleted at one point because I rinsed it and we went into that territory. But I was looking at all different ways of being international, and this was my international pull short of Old Boy before. And I was like, this is one of those old school classic comedies. I hate to explain. It's weird because people are like, oh, I've seen the American version. Yes, it's about a cop who can't drive and a taxi driver who knows their way around town, and it's amazing. It was great fun. Ha ha.
Nah, you saw that Queen Latifah shit.
Yeah, I have never seen a film that uses the same premise, but fuck it up as bad as that one. Honestly, it was just like, oh, you didn't. Oh,
Oh,
you
you
oh
didn't.
no. Oh God, you tried, but no, that's not how we do. That's not how we do Taxi.
That
There's
is
there's
not
the
how we do
French
Taxi.
wit. There's the way the speed chase is done. They just I think it's the Rushmore word that's being embraced recently. Vanillified. You vanillified Taxi. You made it too clean. Taxi needed a bit of a bit of a grit, a bit of an edge to it. You know, not major to be like, oh, deep. It's one of those deep action films, but it had something a bit raw to it. It's a fresh. It's the streets of Paris in a way you've never seen it before, and that's what you needed with the US version. It could have been any state. You just needed to show it to us in a different way, like slightly make it more criminal. This one was just really stupid. But if you take the French version, it's just this great comedy.
Fucking wonderful.
About this taxi driver who just knows his way around town. If you need to get from point A to point B, he will do it in record time. He literally converts his car into a motocross car in no time. Like, this is what he does. But in the same breath, he's this very polite gentleman who will drive an old lady to her house and pick up her groceries every week. Like, this is the madness about it. And it just works. And one of the reasons why Taxi actually made onto the list this week is I've actually got a friend who's seen it. Well, shout out to Rita. But do you know she's seen it in Hungarian? So recently I was talking about like French films, how it can't work, because yes, she's Hungarian. Just randomly watch a film in a different language. And I was like, and we started talking about like how great Taxi is, and I was like, even though you know how jokes don't bang as well, because I always said Taxi is great, but you watch it with
Couleuvre doesn't work in other
languages. You can't explain that in English because the subtitles won't give it away.
Correct.
It's the same as Taxi 2. Konnichiwa and konnichiwa. You can't explain why he's saying gherkin ra. It's not. You can't do a direct for direct translation. So you're gonna laugh at him saying konnichiwa in a weird way. But if you take it from the French to English translation, it's gold. And this is one of those. I've read the subs to Taxi a million times. I've actually seen another French film called Docteur. Nearly made the list. It was fun. It's an newer French comedy. It had a few bits to it, but it wasn't Taxi, and that's why Taxi made the list, man. Like, Taxi just bangs where you need it.
It's an all-timer, bro.
Yeah, and it's been a while, and I thought if there was a time to bring it back, this is it.
And I mean, also it gives you a pre-femme Marion Cotillard stuck bollock naked, which is just a thing of beauty.
1 or 2?
Numero uno, my friend. Full frontal vajayjay shot. It's fantastic. What they say about French girls is true.
Just remember you're married to a Polish woman and move on.
It's okay. You know, you're allowed to do a bit of window shopping. It never made you lose credit in your bank. Looking at the menu never made you gain weight.
This is also true, my bro. Also true.
It is also true. All right, bro. In at number 3, I had to bring in one of my favorites here. I'm bringing the Coen brothers in with what I personally think is their best film. Frances McDormand is astonishing in this, as are Peter Stormare, Steve Buscemi, William H. Macy, and the like. Fargo.
I was tempted with Fargo. I think I knew you were going to have it on, if I'm honest. And I leaned out.
It was number 1 for a very long time, and then I was honest with myself, and I had to shuffle some shit around. But
fair enough.
I can't describe how much I love this film. I think the Coen brothers, if they made more movies like this, would be far more celebrated. I mean, a lot of people will say that No Country for Old Men is their best. It's certainly. This is going to sound like
I prefer Fargo. I prefer Fargo over No Country for Old Men. By a good bit, if I'm honest. I know it's an unpopular opinion. I was going to
say that No Country for Old Men, and this is going to sound like a weird thing to say. I was going to say that No Country for Old Men is the Coen brothers' best film in a more obvious way. Obvious in the sense that it's, it tells a serious story as opposed to a kind of dark satire comedy. It's got far grittier scenes to it. If you talk about a guy being a woman killing herself by running down the stairs with a shower curtain versus a terrifying Latino man with a silenced shotgun, the audiences are probably going to lean in the direction of the second one. You talk about Peter Stormare and Steve Buscemi, and then you talk about Tommy Lee Jones, Josh Brolin, Woody Harrelson, and fucking Javier Bardem. audiences are going to lean in a certain direction. It's just par for the course. But I think there is something so beautiful about how well balanced Fargo is, about this juxtaposition between the purity of the snow and the purity of the life that Frances McDormand is carrying in her, you know, the unborn child, versus the sheer red blood and brutality that accompanies this fucked up little scam that William H. Macy's got going on. And also appropriately, Snowflake lands on mountainside, and you know the theory is like butterfly effect, it creates an avalanche, right? Oh my god, the avalanche in this film, like what the fuck.
What I love is, I mean, don't get me wrong, I've seen Fargo once. It's the way we can encapsulate it. I never ever looked at the purity of the white snow and matched it to the pregnancy. I just, oh, she's pregnant. Like, you know what I mean? I love how
the whole film is it, none of this is coincidental. It's like the Christmas trees in Die Hard. It's like that shit didn't just happen by circumstance. The Coens didn't just decide, let's film in the snow. No. There's reason behind the madness.
Fair enough. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do like
also Fargo. You love the way I break shit down, admit
it. Every now and again, like sometimes it does my head in Civil War, but like I get like other times
I'm right.
Listen, I'm just saying, like other times it's like, oh, I never looked at it that way, that's interesting. And sometimes it helps to rewatch a film under that scope, so it helps, you know. I like to switch off when I watch a film. There are some shit I can't unsee, like yourself, maybe not as often, but other times I'm like, hey, what I always appreciate about Fargo is how many people believed it was a true story and have gone to look for the treasure and mad shit like that.
Yeah, right on, right?
Yeah,
right on. I, top to bottom, Fargo is my favorite Coen Brothers movie. I fucking adore that film. Your number 3, please, AJ.
Right. You mentioned this director earlier. You mentioned this film earlier, and it got a hashtag loved or adore earlier.
Yes.
Dune, the movie that I always say it. I rushed it. We rushed in. It was meant to be a movie between time. It was a film that we were going to watch and then go to dinner. And it went longer than I expected, but I appreciated every moment of it. I remember looking and it says, now the journey begins. And me, you're actually stopping it. I legit remember that conversation because I didn't know it was a 2-part film, my ignorance. But I really liked what they have to offer in this film. I've not seen the original Dune. I've not read the book, so I'm not in the world that you are to say that. From the irony you show me, it's a big boy of a book.
It's a big bread of a book, and it's got bare names in it. Like,
yeah, there's a lot.
It's not an easy read.
And going back to Gavin and us being Star Wars bros, I appreciate The Force Awakens. The story of like trade and all of that, I feel like it's told a lot better in Dune than it is in Star Wars. Like, hate me now, guys. I'm appreciating that.
Oh no, I'm with you. Like 100%, I'm with you.
Yeah, I just was like, well, if Star Wars told it this way, I'd appreciate Star Wars more. You know what I mean? It's weird. That's how I felt. I was like, this is the way.
If Star Wars had acting this good in it, everyone would appreciate Star Wars more. Like, I'm sorry. Did you see some of the performances in this? Like, they actually got me to believe that Jason Momoa was a good actor. I was like, well done. Like, wow.
It had a lot. It's got grounds, and it's essentially a political war between planets and the rest. That's all it is. But there's a weird bit of detail in it that just really encapsulates you. I'm lost for words because it's hard to explain it. I came in just looking for a casual film before I go to dinner with the missus. And it was just like, this is actually really good.
It's fascinating, isn't it? It's the world building they created. It's so fucking engaging. I see Den the Tech saying he's bored with it, but like,
do you know what? I was actually going to preface this where we're saying apologies, Den, because I know it's not one that Den can relate to.
It was 2 years it came out. Right? It was my movie of the year. I thought it was a fucking
last year.
It wasn't last year. Was it last year? May have been last year. If it was whatever year it came out, it was my film of the year. And I think it is a remarkable feat of sci-fi storytelling to be able to, in a decade where we've had the likes of Edge of Tomorrow and fucking countless Predator movies and like all the sci-fi movies, like so much sci-fi. For a sci-fi movie to go, let me take the trade talks of Star Wars Episode 1, which people hate, actually put some dramatic gravitas
Put some meat
behind
on the
them,
bone.
put some meat on the bone. Let me put all the pieces of this chess piece in place. Let me pepper in the odd bit of action here and there, just so you understand how dangerous this world is. Like, bro, that scene with the worm fucking devouring the compactors. I was like, oh, I mean, what am I watching? And the fact that you have filmed it so beautifully, like every single frame of this movie was like a work of art. I was like, it's so pretty.
So here's the thing. You've read the book and you appreciate it to this degree. There's a film out there that I'm yet to see. Now, earlier, literally my film before, I shat on Taxi and its remake. This is one of the rare occasions, without even seeing the original, I feel you could say, this is a remake done right.
Mm-hmm.
This is a case, and I could be wrong. I might one day end up watching this 1980 whatever movie that is Dune and be like, oh my God, it's amazing. But there's those rare occasions when a remake outdoes the original. I have a feeling this is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
The elements just work. It encapsulated me in a way I wasn't ready for. And I still flash back to it now when I bring it up. I was like, I didn't expect this, but I enjoyed it. And that's what I love about it.
I was very nervous going into it just because the book is such a fucking holy Bible of sci-fi. And to bring that book to screen, it's much like bringing Lord of the Rings to screen. It's like, oh, this is going to be extremely difficult to do. And they succeeded. And I think a lot of people who are like, oh, I didn't realize it ended there. It's like, okay, that I understand could have caught you off guard. I knew that.
I didn't hate that.
Oh, a lot of people did. But then to those people, I say, did you hate Fellowship of the Ring? Now, the ones who say yes, my attitude is you're wrong, but at least you're consistent.
It's so weird because I remember Tam saying to me, like, yeah, it's going to end now. I'm like, no, that's not how it ends. Like, the journey's about to begin. It says now it begins, credits. I was like, what? Whoa. Oh, shit. Well played. Like, it was a case that she was right, I was wrong. That's what pissed me off more. But apart from that.
I love this film. I fucking love this film. And I can't wait for parts 2 and 3.
Nice. I'm on the train with you, bro.
All right, my number 2, bro. People are going to be like, you put it this high? Fargo was, as I said, my number 1. And then I remembered my number 1. I was like, oh, well, there's that. But then I've also been toying with my number 2. It was always going to be top 5 for me. And then I took a moment and said, you know what? People tune into the movie Mount Rushmore not to fucking have me agree with them or for me or to agree with me necessarily. It's just to hear an opinion and have a bit of banter with it. And I just need to be honest here. I know that increasingly there seems to be this radicalized shtick for this film. I cannot stress how much I fucking adore this movie. And it is top 20 of all time for me, this film. Yeah, I fucking said it. Mel Gibson in Braveheart.
Bro, I'm not shocked. I know it's a near and dear to you. To be honest.
Bro, I rewatched it again for this list, and it holds up so well. It holds up so freaking well. Like, because they chose to actually do those battle scenes, it's insane how well filmed this is, considering it's a 1995 film.
Yeah, 95. Yeah, 95.
Bro, that's that long time ago. We're coming up to 30 years, and it looks so good. It captures Scotland. With respects to Gavin, you can confirm this or not, but it makes Scotland look like such a beautiful fucking country. Not to say it's not. I'm just saying it captures that. I mean, yes. Is it possibly the worst case in cinema history of misappropriating and revising history to such a level that you just have to call bullshit? Oh, yeah. But it's so good. It is so engaging. The characters in it are so rich that you can get so easily invested in the movie. that your brain doesn't go into, well, actually, the Scottish never beat the English at the Battle of Stirling. They won the Battle of Stirling Bridge, and all of the conquests against the English, they took a bridge. I don't give a fuck. Look how good the film is. Look how entertained I am. Yes, go and sack York. Never happened. Doesn't matter. The shit was entertaining. William Wallace being taken into a tent and slagging someone off in Latin and then in French. Give me some of that all fucking day long. Slicing someone's throat in his own castle. You're fucking, yeah. Edward the Longshanks, one of the nastiest, repulsive kings ever put to screen. The problem with Scotland is that it's full of Scots. It's like, you nasty motherfucker. I will invoke Prima Nocta. If we can't beat them out, we'll breed them out. I mean, nasty motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, the people you are meant to hate in this film, oh my word, you hate them. And the people you are meant to love, oh my God, you love them. Be it William Wallace, be it Amish, his best friend, played by Brendan Gleeson in his first ever role, I believe. Like, that initial reaction they both have when they're adults playing with the rocks. I should have remembered the rocks. Hey, you should have, you know. Right then and there, it's like, right, these are the two friends that we saw when they were both kids. Well, I'm right back in it. These two are lifelong friends. I'm in. Meeting Amish's dad. The Irish fella coming along going, this cannot be William Wallace. I am prettier than this man. You know, it's like, all right, father, I'll ask him. The good Lord says, answer the fucking question. You know, you've got all these larger than life, brilliant characters that you're like, I like you, I like you, I like you. I want you all to live, and I know it's not going to happen, but I like you all. Go Scotland.
Gavin, you can unmute now. He stopped with the Scottish accent. Just in case we were offended.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
So here's the thing with Braveheart, and it's not a diss in any means, right? When I watched Braveheart, it was for the purpose of a Rushmore. So with that, it was being rushed. I think I need a chance to digest Braveheart. That's my biggest cynicism behind it. It wasn't shit. I just need the chance to really digest it, to take in those moments. Do you know what I mean? That's all it is. It was, right, I need to get onto this because I've got another 4 films to watch. That was my only thing. I need to just sit down and watch it properly, but to appreciate it the same way you do. It's a great film. It's a great film. I just need to be able to embrace it properly.
I'm very glad to see that there's so much love for Braveheart here. Dan the Tech saying he loves Braveheart. Francis Lalonde putting up a very random but brilliant cut. I never liked him. Wasn't right in the head. It's my Ireland. I fucking love this film. When they're fucking having that battle against Longshanks. Archers loose. Begging your pardon, sire. But if we loose arrows now, won't we hit our men? Yes. But we'll hit theirs too. Fire! What a cunt. And bro, it is one of the all-time brilliant moments of acting. And I am not going out on a limb saying this. When William Wallace chases after Longshanks and he captures that man in the helmet and rips the helmet off, is my...
No, you're good. Now you fucked it. I'm not going to lie. Now you fucked it. You were perfectly good. I was just listening. Nope. Yeah, now you're back.
Hello.
Hey.
It is one of the all-time brilliant moments when he's chasing down Longshanks. He captures the man with the helmet, rips the helmet off, about to cut his throat, and he sees that it's Robert the Bruce. Bro, that moment, like, he's been wounded. He's been shot. None of that matters. This face that Mel Gibson pulls, this utter betrayal, this bro, it's like he's walked in on his wife sleeping with his best friend. I'm like, I've never seen an actor deliver a facial expression like that, where just the face says more than words ever could. It is so powerful what he does in that scene. Just like this shock of utter betrayal. It's like, oh my God, this film just keeps getting better and better and better. It's so good. And people are loving the chai. My people. Yes, I'm good.
I think you found something going into the Rushmore already.
I fucking love this film, bro. I can't tell you how much I love it.
Cool.
And it pisses the English off something. Well, that's not what happened.
Deal with it. Happened in the movie.
Sophie Marceau, chef's kiss, exactly, Tucky, my guy. Oh, and when he loses his first wife, that's so devastatingly sad. My God.
I remember.
Oh, and what they did so cleverly in it is that they don't go over super hype emotion with it. It's like done. They snuff her out. There's no music playing. They don't make it a big elaborate thing. It's just no. So they fucking what? Did they just? Oh, y'all are in so much trouble. Like, you don't even know. The man with the blue face and skirt is going to come and fuck you up, and you don't even know how bad it's going to be. Oh, it's so good. It's so good, this film, bro. I just don't know how you can't be more hyped for it. And I'll say this. I'll go out on the record and say this. Braveheart's better than Gladiator. I said it.
I would actually agree. I would. In a weird way, yeah. Gladiator, yeah.
Braveheart is better than Gladiator. I said it.
It's got yeah. Much more depth. Like, don't get me wrong, Gladiator's got some
much more.
moments. Yeah.
And Tucky also here with James Horner, R.I.P. soundtrack, so good. You can hear Titanic score in there too from a couple of years later, 100%. Yeah, and yeah, the Wallace's revenge against that gang that killed his wife. Yeah, and Pedro, I agree with you. Mel Gibson, questionable ethics aside, is a not just talented, very talented director. And I'll agree with you again, Pedro. Apocalypto is quite an achievement. Apocalypto, I would also put that in my top 20 of all time. I adore Apocalypto. Adore it. Love it. Your number 2, AJ.
It's The Punt from earlier, bro.
Oh, what a film this is.
Yeah. It's Black Swan amped, but with drums. It's the first thing I can think of explaining it.
Black Swan without the lesbian scene and men doing drums.
But
men be like, why are we not watching Black Swan?
Yeah, it's exactly it. Testosterone, that's why. But it's that element of just competing against each other, but yourself as well. And this bastard teacher at the helm of it, who just
not my tempo.
It's so disturbing. I remember when you guys first brought up this film, and I was like, "What am I missing? What is this film? Yeah. What is this film that J. Jonah Jameson has got everyone losing their shit about?" That's what I was saying to myself. Oh my god, is he in else? It's the way, and it's like, so it's just there. Okay, you're not in. He's in. You're out. He's in.
Not my tempo.
And it's the slight bits, and it's like faster, slower. You're like, what? Slower. No, faster. That like legitimately, when they say perfection doesn't exist, it does in his class.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's a absolute fucking moment. And do you know the part that I say it was? Don't get me wrong. It was the passion and the determination is when he forgot his drumsticks and he had minutes to go back. And you're like, what am I watching here? That was, I mean, don't get me wrong, the whole film caught me in a way that, I mean, it's my number 2, do you know what I mean? Like, it has moments, it has this psychotic teacher. And like, how does a man get away with this? But it's like, his whole comment will be, I strive to get the best out of people. And, you know, you can't take it, leave. And it's there. He's this absolute arse of a teacher. But it's like, I haven't got my drumsticks. You've got, what was it, 15 minutes or what have you. Going back to the frickin', oh my days. And then, again, no spoilers. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it. Because
that ending.
Oof. If there was ever one of those, and that's a middle finger to anyone on Pod Squad, my God. And the thing is, you watch it and you're like, are you really doing this? Are you really doing this? Do you know who you're doing this to? Oh my days. Yeah.
It's yeah. You know, I watched this and I watched La La Land, and I think, what did jazz ever do to Damien Chazelle? Fuck.
That's a good question, bro. That's a very good question.
Damien Chazelle got fucked up on jazz.
He
Like,
could be a
did
jazz
he get?
man. He could be a jazz man. Like jazz.
He
Jazz is
must
such
be
a
a
wide
jazz
spectrum.
man. He must be a
Jazz
jazz
is
man.
such a wide spectrum in music that that's his jam, man. I like
Just
that.
listen to how he gets Ryan Gosling to talk about jazz and La La Land. 1,000,000% he's a jazz man. Bro, I adore. Yeah. You see Whiplash, you see La La Land, then you hear that he's doing a movie called Babylon with Margot Robbie and Brad Pitt about Hollywood turning from silent to sound, and you're like, well, that's gonna be good, isn't it?
Yeah, give me some of that.
It's like Damien Chazelle does Singing in the Rain. It's like, yes, please, all day long.
I'm actually down for that film. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm so excited for it. I can't tell you. Yeah, man, that's so great shout on number 2. Right, guys, just before we reveal our worst, I see a few of you have done it already, but could everyone please start dropping either your Rushmores or your top 10 movies with one-word titles, and go. And I will star them and bring them up when we're doing our Rushmore at the end. Thank you, Dan the Tech.
Bro. I am intrigued. I'm grateful as fuck that Friday is not the worst. Especially
it nearly was.
No. Let me tell you why. Because I expected it to be worse, and that's why I was like, I really don't want to get into this debate and it being punted. It was going to hurt me too much. But then when you said one of the worst films I have seen in my life, I was like, please don't tell me he hates Friday that much. Now that I know it's not Friday, I'm cool. This is what I'm saying, but I'm intrigued as fuck as to what it is.
Real talk, bro. If we take The Room out of the equation, and if we take the real like stupid movies out, like let's table Tammy and the T-Rex, Velocipasta, The Room. Let's table the shit that is self-awarely terrible. Like the ironic.
The Room belongs in that because he believes it was a masterpiece. But I get where you're going. Yeah,
brother, come on.
Listen, no, we've seen The Disaster Artist. We know
the machinations of Wistow's mind. It's a fascinating place. Look, movies which have come to be regarded as terrible, and you watch them ironically, and you're like, "This is so bad," but I'm having a laugh. By the way, Point Break should be in there. I fucking said it. This movie was trying to be good, and it's, in my opinion, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. In my honest opinion, take all of the ironic terrible movies out that we've just mentioned. This might be the worst thing I've ever seen in a cinema.
In the cinema? Is this new cinema, old cinema?
It's we were at the Lycée still.
Okay.
It's a fucking abomination, and I can't believe I'm going from one Mel Gibson movie to another. And it's got Joaquin in it. Signs.
Do you know what? I've never seen this film.
Look at this image. This tells you everything you need.
It kind of gives away a lot.
This movie is the dumbest piece of shit I have ever seen. And I was thinking Friday, again, in the scope of movies that I've seen recently, and I'll say it, in the movies that I've seen recently, Friday is head and shoulders the worst one I've seen recently. But in the scope of, we are doing a top 10 of ironically, there's aliens in this film. If we're doing a fucking aliens coming down to Earth, what do I have to tell them? Steer the fuck away from this abomination. This movie is a fucking joke. Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix are on a corn farm, and you start getting crop circles of aliens coming down to Earth.
As you would. Where else?
And it's fucking annoying. It is really annoying because there's actually one or two moments in here. Dig this. One moment in particular of an alien hand coming out from underneath a kitchen door, and the fingers get sliced off, which is an incredibly effective jump scare, like ridiculously effective. But then they start trying to communicate with the aliens and wearing silver foil hats on their heads, as in the image I just showed you. And they start running around the house trying to make noises to scare the aliens. These ain't jokes. And then they start hiding in the basement. And then they find out that the aliens are like super intelligent. But then here we go. The aliens are allergic to water and they've come to a planet that's known as the Blue Planet.
I mean, that part, if you're an explorer, you'll fuck up. I mean, you should see the
fuck off,
water
mate.
distance.
No. Look from space. You know you're allergic to water. The planet is fucking covered in water.
I mean, there's
This
two
film.
things. There's two things on this. I've never seen the film, but I was intrigued.
Oh my
to see where
God.
it's on. I'm very, very happy to know that it's on Disney Plus. So I will give it. It sounds so bad that I need to give it a shot. But here's the part that really cracks me up. It's got a 75% Rotten Tomatoes. And
this is the maddest thing ever. I know.
I want to do this before Twitter gets upset that we don't include IMDb in 3.4 out of 5 on Letterboxd.
And I'm looking at it going, where?
There
is this?
There is shit like that out there, but I'm just intrigued.
It is an offensive, tremendous pile of shit. And this is the film that started M. Night Shyamalan. Shyamalan. Exactly. This is where the Shyamalama Ding Dong, the Sham Hammer started. This is it. See, people shit on The Village. I actually kind of like The Village.
I give him his trilogy. I nearly put one of his trilogy in there. Glass, Unbreakable, Split. Like, I nearly put Split in, if I'm honest.
Glass is fucking awful. Unbreakable and Split, I like. Glass is shite.
Do you know what? Do you know, honestly, if I ranked them, I'm Split, Glass, Unbreakable. I just felt there wasn't enough in Unbreakable. Honestly. I know what you mean. It's not great. I didn't actually hate.
No, I really did. Considering how much I enjoyed Split. Oh, I really dislike Glass. But no, this isn't his worst film. That's the terrible thing. We still have the two abominations known as Lady in the Water and what's that one with the plant? Death by Plants. The Happening. Oh, God. I mean, that's bad. That's fucking bad. I couldn't include that because the.
Okay.
But Signs, bro. Oh, my word. Oh, my word. This film sucks so hard.
Oh, boy.
Your worst.
Right. I told you off camera when we were going through a list. Like, guys, you'd be surprised how we'd practically Rushmored this film, this episode before. Like, we talked about it and we literally would just get bouncing off of each other. However, there was a film I told Nick that came up. I thought Elf, then I wasn't sure if Elf was... No, I think his name's Buddy. Anyway, it doesn't matter. There was another film that categorically jumped into my head. It's been worse before, but when I had to break it down, this film will always come up as worse because I know you give yourself, is it 3 movies? A chance that
3 movies and I'm out.
3 movies a year. Otherwise, he has to sit through the film no matter how bad it is. This film made my girlfriend fall asleep, and it's the first time I had both hands on the armrest, propped and ready to go to leave the cinema. And I'm like, nope, I don't leave films. I no matter how bad it is.
Gordon's in this, isn't he?
Oh yeah, fucking. I forgot about that. Here we go. I love the way it's like Meow playing in theaters. Fucking the abomination that is Cats. Oh God, that film is bad.
You didn't like the Jellicle Cats?
The only redeeming factor in that film was Taylor Swift singing Idris Elba's character. I can't remember the name. McCavity. That was the only thing in that film. Jennifer Hudson, the powerhouse singer, looked like she was in absolute pain. And I'm not talking the pain that was meant to be portrayed of an old cat going to the moon. She looked like she was in absolute, like someone stepped on her toe while she was giving birth kind of pain. The expressions on her face were like, I just can't explain it. I don't know what.
Judi Dench and Ian McKellen are in this. Like, what the hell?
I was going to say, when you mention ensemble cast, when you mention the people that's there, you take the world of acting, right? You take Judi Dench, you take Ian McKellen, for comedy factors, you've got flipping Corden and Rebel Wilson. You've got Idris Elba, who some people lord over. You talk music, you've got flipping Taylor Swift and Jason Derulo. Like, it's got a mix of everything for everyone that says.
Here's where Cat's fucked up. Jason Derulo didn't come on and start a song with his name.
That would have been quite funny, wouldn't it? I don't know what he would have been.
Feline
Derulo or some shit like that, but I don't know what would have happened. But
Feline Derulo.
I don't know what happened in this film that I have been so bored, so offended, and never in my life have I been in a cinema and been that bored. As I said, I'm the one who normally falls asleep in the cinema. The missus,
yes, you are
gone. She was gone. Woke up and went, "This is still on. Shall we leave?" And I was there, and I was like, "No, I don't do it." That is why, if we're going to talk one-word movies, and it has to take a word, Kat, you have solidified your position there.
Fair enough.
I remember when you were like, "It can't be that bad."
Part of the MCU, says Tucky.
I mean, it could be. Bifrost Man has opened up a universe where the cat.
Oh, fuck that guy! Seriously, fuck that guy. And I'll say this: I had a good time with Beast, despite him.
No, listen, I've not even seen it, but you've just shat on every fucking Elba fan. It's gonna be like, "What about Beast? What about Beast of No Nation?" Whatever.
What about it? Oh, bro.
What about Brixton? Anyway, we move on.
So here's what annoyed me, right? We've seen in The Wire that he does a really good American accent. Where the fuck was that? I'm like, I'm sorry. I know you've got this gear in you. Where is it, please?
Please use it. Please use it.
It's ridiculous, bro.
Oh.
All right, man. So I started with the Japanese movie with Ringu. I'm going to end with the Japanese movie. One of the, I think, objectively, not, and here's where I can make the distinction between subjective and objective, right? Which, my opinion, it's not one of my top 10 favorites of all time, but I think in terms of the importance that it had for the development of cinema, this is one of the top 10 films of all time. Akira Kurosawa's Rashomon.
So, question, is that the name of a place? Oh, but it means court. Is that why you were scared it wasn't fit?
Rashomon is the name of the village where the movie takes place.
Fair enough.
And you only know that it's a village because it's like the whole... So I'm taking... You still haven't seen this, so it's not...
So I'm watching it. I just didn't get to finish it. And I'm enjoying it. And I wasn't going to lie. I wasn't going to lie and be like that. I was actually shocked. Today was meant to be a really quiet day at work. I was going to finish it. I didn't get a chance to.
Fuck.
Busier than I needed to.
It's very hard for me to talk about this because I had a beautiful kind of, well, in my humble opinion, a beautiful rundown of why this film is as great as it is. But I don't want to do it for fear of giving shit away for you.
I'm aware of how great it is. I'd prefer not to be exposed to truth if possible.
It's hard for me to run it down without giving away a detail. Then again, there's something to be said about me giving away this detail that may temper your expectations, which could actually add to your enjoyment of the movie.
Tread carefully, but go.
It's very hard. So, first off, did you know that there is something known as the Rashomon effect?
No.
Which shock horror became popularized in culture because of this film. The Rashomon effect is essentially human beings' inability. Funny, we were talking
see something from another person's perspective, right?
Not only to see something from another person's perspective, but to be able to recount a series of events without letting emotions take over. That's what the Rashomon effect is. Now, this film... it's so difficult to tread carefully here.
This film expresses that. It shows a way of
you
showing...
probably already know that the movie... depending on where you are in the movie, but you probably already know that the movie is about four people's differing accounts of the same events, right? This could lead you, a first-time viewer, to assume, I have to say this, AJ, so I apologize, but it could lead a first-time viewer like yourself to assume that in the end, the real story will be identified. AJ, such a viewer will be disappointed. Okay, and that's the point. That's the magnificence of this film.
I feel like you spoiled it, but I will live with it.
The first line in the film is "Wakaranai," I don't understand. And that is coming from someone who witnesses the events in question. If an eyewitness has heard the testimony of the other three participants, doesn't understand, why should we be expected to? The point of the movie, therefore, is not to discern what really happened.
Bro, I'm enjoying this, but I'm also hating it. I'm gonna be so purely honest with you because I feel like you're doing it and then you're digging deeper. I'm like,
let me go with it. The point of the movie is not, I want you to appreciate this movie without going into, I want a resolution like in the Usual Suspects. Okay. Because I know the reason I'm bringing this up is because I know a lot of people who have seen this movie and gone, oh, I don't get the hype. That was shit. We didn't get a proper resolution. It's like, you missed the point. And I don't want you to miss the point. I want you to be like,
if I would have hated it.
The point, therefore, is not to discern what really happened, but to consider why everyone's stories differ. Memory is inherently subjective. Here's an example. Any trial lawyer will tell you that eyewitnesses are notoriously unreliable, even when they're genuinely trying to tell the truth. Rashomon is about, among other things, mankind's self-serving nature. Okay? One of the ways this film is different from the typical Japanese movie of that era is that much of the acting is exaggerated, which you've probably already cottoned on to. There isn't an abundance of dialogue either. Kurosawa loved the minimalism of silent movies and sought to replicate that simplicity here by juxtaposing it with said overacting. It's actually interesting to see how movies of yesteryear addressed the subject of rape without using the word rape. You will have noticed this already, unless you've only watched the first 5 minutes.
No, I've gone deeper than that.
The word rape doesn't get used. In his testimony, the bandit uses the term like capture her, have her, take her. And of course, there is no graphic depiction of what happens.
Remembered some kick-ass films. Sorry, I've just remembered a courtroom film that I could have put in here. I'm kicking myself because remember bringing those which one I'm talking about.
Notice how the bandit reacts when he first sees a beautiful woman, or rather notice how his sword reacts. Metaphors. Finally, a word on the title. It comes from a 1915 short story by, let me look it up here because I want to get this right. Ryunosuke Akutagawa, who used the name of an actual ancient city gate, now in ruins, to symbolize the decay of Japanese culture and morals. However, Kurosawa used the short story Rashomon only for its title and setting. The actual plot of the film was from another Akutagawa story called Inner Grove. Rashomon is the rare film, and this is why it's top 10 of all time for me. Rashomon is the rare film that can claim two major impacts on the world. One, its narrative style, almost unprecedented at the time, gave filmmakers a new tool to use, expanding the storytelling possibilities. Essentially, the unreliable narrator, right? How often have we seen that being used? The unreliable narrator.
You're fading. You're fading.
The unreliable narrator.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
2, it introduced, and this is where we can all be thankful, it introduced Japanese cinema to the rest of the world. Japan's subsequent international successes, as well as the countless American films influenced by them, owe a lot to Rashomon for getting the ball rolling. And on top of all that, it's an engaging and technically proficient fucking drama. It's a really good movie. In other words, it did some important shit.
Have you read this from something like BFI symbolism or something?
No, but was that really good? Because it sounded fucking
Like,
great.
you've
The words
written
were
this.
coming
I
out
can
my
tell
mouth.
this is not just, that wasn't freestyle. That could not have been freestyle. You
That was completely freestyle. It was rehearsed a few times, but it was
okay.
freestyle.
This is what I'm saying. I like this was like an old school poesy. Man was like, I'm gonna do this shit. I've got this ready.
Because
And this is why you're like, you know what? I have rehearsed it so much. Fuck everyone who hasn't seen it. This is spoiler territory because I've rehearsed my shit. Like, you're defending a film that actually didn't necessarily need defending.
it does need defending, bro. The amount of modern movie fans who I've said go and watch Rashomon, and they're looking at it without having the proper historical lens on it and looking at it like a payoff movie, like a grand reveal, like a fucking Sixth Sense or a Usual Suspect. To look at it through that prism is not only opening yourself up for disappointment. By the way, full disclaimer, disappointment that I felt upon first viewing of said movie. The first time I watched Rashomon, I was like, what's the hype about? Because the ending, if you're not braced for it, will leave you so fucking unsatisfied after an hour and a half of build up. But then I went and studied it. I went and reflected on it. And I was like, hang on, no, this movie's got some shit to say. Let me dig deeper. Then I rewatched it and I was like, okay, I get it. I get it. Okay. It is not a fucking obvious gratification movie. And the amount of film fans I have recommended this film to who have come back and gone, you're an asshole. That film is an hour and a half of my life lost. I'm like, fuck. Okay. I clearly need to have a speech ready. This was my anti-Civil War speech. This was my pro-Rashomon speech. I got this shit on lockdown.
Okay. I mean, there's two things you've done. Really, I should have gone first this week because my number one is just going to be like, oh, okay, move on. I don't have the passion for my number one like that. And number two, I'm pissed I haven't seen it because I would have been intrigued to know which way my mind would have gone on it. But you know,
I haven't told you shit about what the
Listen,
reveal
I get
is,
it.
but
I get it. In my
there's important shit that happens at the end that I haven't referred to at all. Like I haven't given away the ending, other than the fact that don't expect something like this is the answer.
All right.
That's the point of the film, is to leave you with this openness of how self-serving humankind is, and how, despite the fact that someone has potentially, through the eyes of someone else, been raped here, we're still not able to get a proper account of what the facts are. The Rashomon effect.
Cool. Well, what then? I mean, you made me want to finish the film. But yeah.
Oh, you do want to finish it, yes?
I mean, look, bro, if I can finish Cats, I can finish Rashomon with a bit of a spoiler. You know what I mean? Come on. Okay. Well, after such a great spiel, and you know, you wonder why people call you the artsy guy, then you give that kind of defense. I mean, it's weird, but you know. And in response to that,
let me just break a few of the comments first. Gavin Mann says Movie Mount Rushmore. Francis Lalonde says I still haven't seen Rashomon but have read synopsis. And Francis Lalonde says, so as Nico, it essentially leaves the viewer to form their own perspective of what happened.
Don't answer because I feel that could be a spoiler.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that one. And Francis says, oh, I do get pissed when films don't properly end, but that doesn't mean that I can't enjoy it. If you're not braced for the ending, it will piss you off something rotten.
I think I could get pissed off by an ending. I mean, let's take June for instance. Like, it can piss some people off, it won't others, because it's like it depends how you want an ending to a film.
And then Francis Lalonde says, Nico, would you say Rashomon is more engaging than, say, Citizen Kane? So difficult for me to answer that as a Westerner viewing a Japanese film, because given that it is, by its very cultural difference, exotic to us, despite the fact that I'm a massive Japanophile, I'd say yes, Rashomon is more engaging than Citizen Kane. But I'm seeing it through the eyes of a white person watching a Japanese film. Ask a Japanese person, they may lose their mind over Citizen Kane.
Yeah, it's what your appreciations are in the world. I suppose that's also a key element.
AJ, you too can be artsy. Just throw out words like existential and genre.
I mean, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I just want to start off by saying, Nico, I feel like my expectations have been tempered. So, go fuck yourself. There we go. That's number one. You know, the film which encapsulates the genre of sci-fi and then existentially creates a film that wasn't actually a film. So by that very nature, creates a duping of the civilians who lived upon the territory, who believed there was a film there. However, it was a recovery of those said people from an embassy, yes, an embassy, who have been captured and kidnapped. Did you realize at no point did they say the word kidnapped? But I think they probably did. But yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying. I was just like, yeah, cool Ben Affleck movie. That's the way I wanted to go with this. Yeah,
I love how you're taking shots at something I just did, which I thought was pretty fucking good. But carry on.
Fucking amazing. But it's the fact that Francis said I could be artsy, so I had to try and make it artsy. That was the thing. It's not a personal dig at you.
It is, but I can take it.
No. The dig came when you're like, I hate that people call me artsy, and you're like, well, the very nature of the area that is a ruined thing represents the ruining of the situation which happened in this ruined village. That, you can't tell me, didn't open up the door of being, I'm not the artsy kid, but listen to my artsy defense. Like, that's what happened there.
Bro, art is art.
It is. And I applaud you for it. Me taking the piss with the artsy, as I said, one, my defense for Argo being a great movie with a great, very suspenseful ending was all I had. Like, the elements really encapsulated me. That the
suspense
part.
Is something else.
Yeah, that suspense is one of the best in. Do you know when you have moments that have you actually? So Kat's had me gripping the chair of, do I get up or do I not? I think had I been in the cinema here, I'd have been gripping on like, do they make it? Do they not? That's the difference. Yeah, and that's one of the rare moments, and I think that's what made this film number one. I've never really experienced, like, you experience tension in film, don't get me wrong. Oh, will they come through the door? Will they not? Oh my God, he's coming back. How, you feel the cover-ups in these quote unquote horror movies. Oh, it's coming, it's not, jump scare moments, or there's a payoff here. This one literally had me like, people's lives are at risk. This really happened. What the fuck happened? Like, it's absolutely mad. We're talking about, was it a Canadian? It was a US embassy, or was it a Canadian embassy? I don't know why.
US.
Yeah, US embassy. Takeover, and in order to rescue the people within this US embassy, these what were they? Oh yeah, agents, I suppose, of one kind or another, decide that the way to be able to enter the country is to say they are making a sci-fi film by the name of Argo. So they have entirely created the promotions and everything around it to make the whole world believe that this film is taking place in order to create a rescue. As it starts to unravel that this is a heap of bullshit, it starts to unwind. But this film, I remember being told from you, you need to see Argo. And I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. It's one of those films, with the highest respect, it's a Ben Affleck movie. A Ben Affleck movie says, you can enjoy it, but it won't be great.
Mostly,
this one said, I've actually got something for you. Like that's what really hit me with it. And it's the development behind it all. And the fact that it really happened also forever blows me away.
Do you want me to get artsy fartsy with you and tell you how they managed to convey the sense of stress?
If you wish.
Do you wish? I know it, motherfucker. It's about your enjoyment.
Build it for me. Express it in the way that the non-artsy can't express it. I appreciate it.
Oh, I'm not going to go as deep as I did with Rashomon just because it's not as deserving. It's a camera trick they did to do with it's the shutter speed they used on the wheels of the plane versus the wheels of the cars to make it feel like the cars were catching the plane. They used a rolling shutter speed on the plane of 120 frames a second to make the plane look like it was moving slower, even though a plane obviously moves faster. Because if you conveyed the actual speed of the plane, it wouldn't convey any tension. You'd be like, well, okay, well, they're clearly getting away.
Keep going.
And they did 60 frames, which is double the speed of 120 frames. They did 60 frames on a camera without rolling shutter speed. So it's a different camera they used and color graded it to make sure that it looked like the car was going to catch the plane.
Thank you. There you go. Argo behind the scenes. Argo revealed. Cool. Right. So before we go to Rushmore, would you like to remind everybody what your top 10 films with one movie title are?
Ah, yes. This old little shtick. Okay, let me just get ready first before you do your screen grab. My top 10 films with one-word titles. I'm going to bookend them with Japanese films this week. And at number 10, I'm going with the iconic Ringu, the film that launched Hiroyuki Sanada's career and launched a generation of rip-offs, which are actually quite good. And at number 9, Denis Villeneuve's criminally underrated Prisoners, starring Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal. Number 8, equally criminally underrated Brad Pitt, Shia LaBeouf, John Bernthal, in an amazing movie directed by David Ayer, Fury. In at number 7, we have got David Fincher's Zodiac with an all-star cast about the real-life story of the Zodiac killer. And at number 6, one of my favorite modern comedies, Superbad, with a all-star cast of Jonah Hill, Seth Rogen, and of course, everyone loves McLovin. Number 5, we have got Whiplash, the movie that won J.K. Simmons his Best Supporting Actor award, and rightfully so. Number 4, Heat, one of the greatest films of all time with an all-star cast. In at number 3, the Coen brothers, in my opinion, best movie ever, which was Fargo. In at number 2, yes, it's very high for me because I adore it, Braveheart with Mel Gibson. And in at number 1, one of the top 10 most influential films of all time, Akira Kurosawa's Rashomon.
All good. Okay, guys, in at number 10 for me is The Diamond Heist. That is absolutely insane. It's Guy Ritchie's Snatch. In at number 9, it's Identity, the film of everyone landing up in a motel and finding out they had more in common than they thought. The world of the haves and have not. In at number 8, Snowpiercer, where they go from the back of the train to the front. You start to see a difference in life. In at number 7, the absolutely mad Euro Trip. How do you describe this film? It's absolutely insane, but a great laugh. In at number 6, Pop Quiz, Hot Shot. We're talking speed. Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock, Jeff Daniels, everyone in there. It's a great film. Right, guys, in at number 5, relax, it's Chinatown. Jack Nicholson, Faye Dunaway in a classic noir. We're taking it in international at number 4 with Taxi, a great comedy. We are talking the original. Do not watch the American version. In at number 3, a remake done right. We're talking Dune. In at number 2, Nico had it in at his number 5. The amazing music battle between teacher and student in Whiplash. My worst movie was the movie that nearly made me move to cinema, Cat. And in at number 1, Argo, Fuck Yourself, Ben Affleck, Bryan Cranston, Alan Arkin, John Goodman, a true life story of a rescue. There we are, guys.
A rescue.
I'm trying to make it a minute. Yeah? 2 people, 1 minute. Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. Yeah. I know.
Okay.
All right, guys. A few of you have sent in your suggestions. Cole Warner Reviews has said Aliens, Predator, 7, Breakdown, Rocky, Jaws, Ghostbusters, Goodfellas, and Inception.
I really wanted to watch Predators, for this week. I thought that.
Yeah, you should have. It's really good. Pedro Santos says Old Boy, Snatch, Magnolia, Apocalypto, Ratatouille, Memento, Sideways, Bacurau, Roma, Whiplash, Contagion, Cavalry. I'm really angry I didn't put Apocalypto on my list,
Do you know what's
Francis,
yeah,
go on.
What really pissed me off, which would have eliminated Snatch? Pink. Pink is such a great movie, and I completely forgot about it till today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Francis Lalonde, my personal Rushmore, Them, Arrival, Matinee, Lifeboat. Den the Tech, Friday, and number 1. Shut up. Friday, Memento, Chronicles, Scream, Heat, Ghost. Fuck. Blade's a good shout.
Blade's the name, though. We couldn't have done it.
Blade we couldn't have done. Speed, Aladdin, Limitless. Special mention to Fantasia, Upgrade, and Joker. My worst movie is Morbius. Gavin, Man, Moon, great shout. Filth, Tombstone, Friend, Delicatessen, Beast, Gagarin, Downfall, fucking Downfall, Mass, Belfast.
Belfast! Fake!
I didn't like it that much, you know.
I loved it. I thought it was a great movie.
Pedro Sanchez then goes on in no order. Train Spotting. Oh, fuck. Train Spotting, Unforgiven, Chinatown, Persona, Notorious, Rashomon, Casablanca, Rafifi, Metropolis.
Notorious nearly made my list.
Tucky, in no order and not including the bigger ones you omitted. Avatar, Respect. Disturbia, nearly made my list. That was my number 11. Whiplash, Claws, Moneyball, Up, GoldenEye, Titanic, Paddington, Predator. And Pedro Santos with an 80s list: Ran, Predator, Videodrome, Brazil, Moonstruck, Big, Gremlins, Platoon, Airplane, Ghostbusters.
Good shout.
I mean, I think it's safe to say we could very easily do another top 10 movies.
There's a few others that I want to hit on this. There is, oh yeah. I did want to preface this episode with that, actually. It's one of those that I'm happy to do another of. Like this one I'm done.
Yeah, right? We could do it next week. Pedro Santos says his Rushmore is Chinatown, Rashomon, Casablanca, and Persona. So Rashomon needs to be on this list, even though I think it's going to get absolutely butt fucked online.
That's up to you, bro. Like I don't have an argument with it.
I know it's going to get heard. I would very much like Rashomon and Brave. Ooh, I kind of want Rashomon, Braveheart, and Fargo on there, but I'll settle for Braveheart. Then again,
there's a lot of love for
Braveheart. And Whiplash.
I'm a lot of love for Braveheart, so I'm happy to have that on.
What do you think about Whiplash?
That my phone separated it. Whiplash, I'm down for it. It's the one film that made both our lists.
Why didn't you include Crash?
Because I always do.
Okay.
Because I always do. I think it was one of the most expected. I mean, yes, Snatch was a difference, but I gave Snatch a bit of a break. I feel like Crash is just ultimately always brought up.
Mixed memorabilia's list: Heat, Snatch, Papillon, Snowpiercer, Rashomon, Parasite, Audition, Old Boy.
Audition, I really wish I watched.
Gavin Mann, Braveheart, Whiplash, Chinatown, and Rashomon should be the Rushmore.
I was tempted to say Chinatown.
You might keep Chris Trengove happy. Braveheart, Whiplash, China. I think, yeah, we could put Chinatown in there. I'm down with that, you know. Sad not having Heat in there, but
I mean, despite my reservations, Heat would probably do better than Rashomon. Now, it's all good to have that education, but what's the point in burying a film? I think I'll discuss it with you later, but I think there should be a edutainment movie of the week kind of thing that should go out. So it's no point putting this stuff in a Rushmore just because.
How about that could be our Throwback Thursday tweet?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Something like that. I'm going to ask a question because it's one of the films that I'm tempted to watch, and I just want to know how quick I should go to watch it. It nearly made the list. It's a one-word film, Idiocracy. Who has seen it and what is their thoughts on it? It's meant to be a pretty good film. I
can't remember what else there, AJ. Caught me off guard there. I don't remember.
I can't remember. It came up I can't remember what other film we were going to do it for. I can't remember if it was films that take place in the day, time traveling movies. It was one of those that came up, and it was on my list. It came up from a few people, and I saw it as a one-word movie, and I wanted to watch it, but I didn't get a chance to this week or 2 weeks. Just want to know people's thoughts if they do have any thoughts on that film. You're off, bro.
For fuck's sake. Hello?
Yeah, go.
Are you suggesting we take Rashomon off?
We literally just said what's the point in burying a film?
I want to see how it does.
If by all means, it's not going to offend me.
I'll be deeply offended, which you'll have a kick out of, so everyone's a winner.
Not really, because I don't want it to be shit.
Francis Lalonde says, I love Idiocracy, but as mentioned earlier, unsure how non-US might react to the humor. Dan the Tech says, the movie is so good, it's bad, then good again.
Interesting.
Are we ready with this Rushmore? And then we can decide what the topic is next week?
Yeah.
Damn, I thought we were going to do a quick one tonight too. Look at that, 3 hours.
Friday.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official Movie Mount Rushmore of movies with one-word titles in no particular order is
Braveheart.
Our second entry is
Whiplash.
Our third entry is
Chinatown.
Our final entry into the Movie Mount Rushmore of movies with one-word titles is
Rashomon.
Rashomon.
Okay, guys, so how do you get to vote for the absolute best of the best of the best? El numero uno, El Capitan, and the best of the best with honors, of course. You head on over to @MovieMT_Rushmore, where we will be retweeting good old JT from @MoviePulse for you. So it doesn't matter which place you go to, one vote is all you get. And with that, you will announce the winner next week. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Also, I'd like to shout out a Bigger Movie Pod because you've just completed your season. It was a good laugh. I enjoy listening to you guys, and we should be planning a collaboration with them soon. So stay tuned. Speaking of staying tuned, AJ, next week's topic, what are we doing?
So here we go. By the way, also shout out to Big Picture Film Club. I see you guys gave us a nice little Facebook like there. Appreciate that, guys. Okay. So in the list, bro. Now, I thought it would have been quite fitting. Like, this was legitimately on our list, and I need to do a bit of work, guys, on this. I know that's the wrong list. Where are we? Next. My old friend used to do this so much better. So movies with one name. That needs to be revisited, mind you. So the next one on my list was Real Leaders in Film. Now, considering we've just changed, that's an option. Another one was title character movies. That's why we said no names, because that is also something that can happen.
Real Leaders is good. Real Leaders is good. Let's do that.
Cool. Real Leaders it is.
So top 10 real leaders as seen in movies. So guys, by real leaders, what we mean is monarchs, dictators, rulers, kings, queens, presidents. You get the idea.
That's the one.
You get the idea. So yeah. That's going to be next week's topic.
There we are, guys. As simple as that. And again, guys, do as Dendotech has always reminded us, tell 5 people to tell 5 people. Yeah, just spread the love. You've been with us for 3 hours. You know what it's like to be part of the film family. So let's just get that bit bigger, man. That's what it's about. And again, they'll be like, oh, but I don't like watching stuff on YouTube. I don't like watching stuff on Facebook. But then we're on podcast, baby. Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, Deezer, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, TuneIn, Stitcher, Geo7, Movie Mount Rushmore. That's all they got to search for. We are absolutely everywhere, and we appreciate you joining us, whether you are Live Squad, Pod Squad, or Vod Squad.
Well said, AJ. So thank you very much for joining us. As always, guys, remember, if you do like the show, you can support us by heading on over to buymeacoffee.com/movie dudes. And for less than the price of your daily coffee, you can support the show that brings you 3 hours of hopefully good entertainment each and every week. You can find us on YouTube, podcast, as AJ just said. But if you are on YouTube, guys, please do be sure that you like the video, because it does help us with the algorithm. Like the video, share the video with anyone who you think may be interested, and please do hit that subscribe button, tickle the bell, so you know whenever we've got new content coming out. But you know what it's like at this point. Tuesdays, 8:30 p.m. UK time. So that's all from me. I'm Nico Lurot, Double V, the very similar dude. Ha!
And I am the one AJ. We out, guys. See you next week. See ya.
See ya.